One Piece: The Legend of Creation, Chapter 281-300. 281 Void Extinction. I have always failed. Can I succeed this time? No, I will definitely succeed. The failure of this ability in the past must have been missing something. Yes, lack of death threat and pressure. Hades. Ancient weapons. In front of me, Lu Chengkong. I can break you just as well. Lu Chengkong looked at the forts in front of him. Each one of them gave Lu Chengkong a tingling feeling, a strong sense of oppression, and a kind of death-like aura that shrouded Lu Chengkong invisibly. In fact, the biggest reason why he asked Shirahoshi to summon Aquaman Lu was because he was worried that Baiji would not be able to focus on protecting Xiaoyao and Lackey and other women when facing Hades. After all, Hades is a huge ship with too many cannons. If they launch together, he will not be able to follow them all together, and some of the aftermath is enough to cover some people on the Xiaoyao who are not strong enough, such as Canis and other women. At this time, there are a lot of Xiaoyao, protected by countless sea kings, and all the girls, so Lu Chengkong has no worries, and can let go of all the burdens to do what Bai has to do. Boom! Suddenly, a very stable sound resembling a crash sounded from Pluto's body, and countless huge gun muzzles on the warship instantly aimed at Lu Chengkong, giving Lu Chengkong a feeling of being completely locked in, as if Baiji had been isolated by the whole world for a moment. The ancient weapon is really not an ancient weapon, especially when it has such a powerful sacrifice as an energy source. It is really scary enough to lock me up. No matter how much I dodge, I can't escape. Lu Chengkong's heart skipped a beat, his brows furrowed tightly together. Although Pluto hadn't attacked yet, its prelude had already made Lu Chengkong feel its extraordinariness, especially in locking the target direction. The space can be blocked off. Boom! Just as Lu Chengkong was thinking about it, the muzzle on Hades fired at the same time, and countless light cannons formed by white, black and red energy burst towards Lu Chengkong. The void is annihilated. Lu Chengkong's face was suddenly gloomy, and the power of each of the hundreds of light cannons in front of him was no less than that of any one of the Gorosei, 5 elders. Faced with such an attack, it was the first wave of thousands. Hundreds of ways, even those who are stronger than Gorosei, 5 elders will surely die. It is difficult for Gorosei, 5 elders in the world to exist in the world of One Piece, king of pirates, without being overthrown for so many years. Lu Chengkong is not a vegetarian either. The moment he walked out, he knew that Baiji was a near-death experience this time. Life is all about hard work. He has encountered a huge bottleneck. If he can't break through, he can only do this for a lifetime. Lu Chengkong is obviously not a person who is satisfied with the status quo. Facing a murder weapon like Pluto has never been an opportunity. After all, the greater the danger, the greater the opportunity. The ability of the Fruit of Nothingness was immediately used by Lu Chengkong. With one move, the void was wiped out. I saw that the chaotic energy suddenly appeared in front of Lu Chengkong, forming a huge and incomparable net, like a net of heaven and earth, trapping most of the light cannons in front of him. At the same time, with Lu Chengkong's thoughts, these light cannons immediately turned into nothingness and disappeared without a trace. It's a pity that although the light cannon disappeared, the fatal sense of crisis that Lu Chengkong felt in his heart not only did not disappear, but instead multiplied. Very uncomfortable. This kind of feeling that life is no longer in the hands of oneself is very bad. What is the purpose of becoming stronger? It's not just to be able to control everything about Baiji, to be in Bayou and not be threatened. For the strong, the feeling and situation that Beiji's life is out of control is the most annoying and most feared. Although Lu Chengkong's face was calm, his breathing was already very chaotic. The annihilation of the void just now cost him 1/10 of the energy. This is only the first wave of attacks. Listen to what Alkiba said. The attack will last for 3 days and 3 nights. It is impossible to support it, just the first wave is so terrifying. The attack by Hades just now is like having thousands of Gorosei, 5 elders attacking at the same time. If it wasn't for the incomparably powerful ability of the Void Fruit, Lu Chengkong might have died and couldn't die anymore. As for Whitebeard, Angelique Na, Hancock, and Khalifa, who are also beyond the four emperors, are not willing to come out to help, but they can't help, because the attack range of Hades is too large. Liu Chengkong alone withstood 50% of Pluto's light cannons, and the remaining 50% were shared by Whitebeard and Angelina, so they couldn't help Liu Chengkong at all. It's troublesome, it's just the first time. According to this attack intensity, I can endure at most 2 times. After the 4th time, I will overdraw and then collapse. 3 days and 3 nights are really troublesome. The corner of Liu Chengkong's mouth couldn't help showing a bitter smile. The ancient weapons were so terrifying, especially with such a powerful sacrifice as the starting energy. It's too late to escape now. Angelina and I can use the power of nothingness at the same time to escape. Khalifa condenses the light into an arrow and opens a hole and can barely leave. Hancock can also leave with the Emperor's color, but the others it is certain to die, but we can only delay the arrival of death a little by staying here now. What should we do? Quote. Liu Chengkong watched Pluto, who had just paused for 0.001 seconds just after the attack, fired again, and his heart suddenly became extremely frightened, but this time he did not dare to use the void to destroy. The power is powerful, and the efficiency is also great, but the consumption even more huge. I hope this will work. Liu Chengkong felt ruthless in his heart, raised his hands high, and bursts of incomparably hot flame energy continued to emerge, almost instantly condensed into an incomparably huge fireball, like a small sun generally. Do you want to use my abilities? Just facing so many attacks, even if you can use the power of my ente to the extreme, you can't reverse it. Ace looked at the huge fireball in front of him. He really wanted to help. Of course, he didn't want to help Liu Chengkong, but by who? Son, it's a pity that his power is too weak. For the first time, the desire for power was born in his heart for the first time, and it was also the first time that he hated Beiji so much for being so weak, and let the Whitebeard pirates. Everyone is involved in this wind quilt. Shout! Suddenly Ace's face changed. Not only Ace, but also many people present changed their faces. Their eyes were staring at Liu Chengkong. No, to be precise, they were looking at Liu Chengkong's hand. Fireball. 282 the ultimate flame. What is this? A white flame, the thought appeared in everyone's heart. Liu Chengkong, who was originally a huge crimson fireball, didn't know what had happened, but it turned into a white fireball in an instant. It was just the color of the fireball. It has changed, but the power has not decreased but increased, giving people a feeling that it can melt all things. The pinnacle of flame, the strongest profound meaning of burning fruit, Ente, Yang Yan. Liu Chengkong's forehead burst with blue veins, and he let out a small voice. Although the voice was small, it was very clear and passed down to everyone. In the ears, especially Ace, as the person who can burn the fruit, no one can understand what this white flame represents more than him. The quality has changed, the quality of the fire has changed, and it has become a more advanced flame. The gap between me and him is really too big. How long did he have the ability to burn the fruit, and he was able to develop the burning fruit to this point, and I have owned it for so many years but I haven't even reached the level of magma. It can be said that Ace suffered a huge blow, but from this fireball, he saw the future of Beiji burning fruit, and it is also the limit, but he, who can be said to be a genuine burning fruit ability, has the burning fruit 10. Not only has he not reached this level for many years, but he can't even compare with magma. On the contrary, Liu Chengkong has reached this level so early, how could he not let his heart become ashes and his face turn pale? Liu Chengkong didn't lie before. His favorite abilities, apart from light, nothingness, time, and space, are fire. After all, the burning fruit is not very powerful in anime, but it is very powerful. The handsome pro, and among these abilities, the development of flame is much simpler than the previous 4. Of course, with interest, the motivation will be great. With the help of the mirror fruit, Liu Chengkong's development is simply 1,000 miles away. And under the pressure of Pluto, he actually made a qualitative change in the flame that burned the fruit, and made a huge breakthrough, turning the original crimson flame into a white flame. The edge has completely subsided. Without the sharp edge of the crimson flame before, it has become a hidden edge. Simply speaking, hitting the enemy will make people not know how to die. Sure enough, the breakthrough of the ability to burn the fruit, and even my mirror fruit has been improved. I obtained the ability to burn the fruit through the ability of the mirror fruit, so the burned fruit is also a branch of the mirror fruit, extending from the source. It comes out, just like a root branched off from a big tree. The branch is nourished and strong, then of course the mirror fruit that connects it will also become stronger. Quote. The joy flashed in Lu Chengkong's eyes, and it was almost fleeting. No one noticed that although he was very happy that Beiji had made a breakthrough in the development of fruit ability, it was now obvious that this level of breakthrough was not enough to reverse the battle situation, so the joy in his heart was almost wiped out by Lu Chengkong in an instant. Shocked. Destroyed. The sun is shining. Emperor color hockey on. When Lu Chengkong threw the white fireball Ente Yangan out of his hand, Angelina and the others also made a great effort at the same time. With the ability to resist the black and red light cannons fired from all directions by the muscles of the Hades, with the sound of explosions, Lu Chengkong's 5 people's faces turned pale every time, their bodies were shaky, and they looked like they were about to fall down at any time. It's just that the eyes of the 5 of them are all bright, and they don't seem to be tired at all, especially Lu Chengkong, whose eyes appear a little dazed from time to time, and become dull from time to time, but these are fleeting. In this situation except for Khalifa and Hancock, who tied a heart to Lu Chengkong, the others did not notice this subtle change at all. Angelina, Whitebeard, must stand up. Husband official may have a breakthrough. This is the last chance, must not let him fall. Hancock and Khalifa said in unison, except for the different names. The words he said were exactly the same, word for word, and the people on the side were envious. Kula la la la. I knew that this kid is not short-lived. Sure enough, under the pressure of death, his potential was squeezed again. I owe him a life and a favor. I don't like to owe others. The things that I have not paid back when I die, as long as I don't die, he will be fine. Quote. Whitebeard laughed loudly and walked in front of Lu Chengkong first. Keelong's was Lu Chengkong as if he didn't know anything. Even Whitebeard didn't react at all when he walked in front of him. The blankness and emptiness in his eyes became more and more obvious. In the end, it actually occupied the whole eye, looking like a living dead that had no life. Dad. The people in the Whitebeard Heifu group saw Whitebeard's performance and heard what he said, and they knew what he was going to do, but they also knew what Whitebeard was. But once a promise is given, it will be done even if it is broken. What is the charm of this man? Not only can people around him be willing to go through fire for him, even Whitebeard is the same, although Whitebeard owes him a life, but if he doesn't do it, no one will say anything about him. Listen, they said that Enel and Lu Chengkong were enemies in the beginning, but now it has become like this, with Enel first and then Mahak. Quote. From an unknown angle, Salas, who is wearing a princess dress, is shining her eyes, and she looks at Lu Chengkong's back standing in midair with a strange light. Like a towering giant tree without a trace of bending, she thought to herself. You must be thinking about his charm that can convince so many people that he is willing to give everything for him. She can gather so many powerful people with huge potential and hearts higher than the sky around her, and she can make so many beautiful women fall in love. For him, let alone you. I was very curious at one time, so I observed and thought for a long time in secret here, and you know what answer I came up with. Portgas D. Dana didn't know when she walked up to Salas, looked at this disciple with a very similar temperament to Baiji, and suddenly spoke as if she knew what she was thinking. Why, Salas, who was seen through her own thoughts, was not angry or embarrassed, but said calmly. I don't know. Portgas D. Na pondered for a while, and said word by word as Salas looked at the next word with incomparably expectant eyes, but what she said made people almost fall to the ground. In such a serious atmosphere she actually said such a thing, but Salas nodded as if she had realized something, and there was a hint of understanding in her eyes. Obviously she understood something, not pretended to be. 283 Mirror Fusion. Don't you know? Yes, I really don't need to know. It turns out that I also unknowingly joined this pirate group, and treat this place as Bai's home. They are all family members. protect him, and be willing for him. In fact, it is not to protect this pirate group. He is the captain, everyone can die, that is, he must not die. The other hand, he is also a member of this family. Enel and the others are willing to die for him. Why didn't Lu Chengkong stand up by himself at such a dangerous time, and the people who protect Beiji's family do nothing for him? The rationale, the answer. Salas understood, and she also discovered that Baiji had unknowingly regarded Baiji as a member of the Happy Pirates, and regarded this ship as an indispensable home for Baiji, and the others were her family, and that's why she can understand Portgas D's words. Understood. It seems that you, like me, were also infected by him, but this is not bad, at least it is much more comfortable to wander around the world than to intrigue alone. I think as long as you survive this time, sister, you will be able to resurrected. Portgas Dana glanced at Salas. She knew very well about the disciple Baiji, she knew what she was thinking just by looking at her, but there was one thing she didn't say was that not only Salas was so does she herself. That's what it feels like. My head office has always been a little bit worse. I have 3 body mirror images, which represent 3 kinds of abilities. One is to allow me to have the ability to integrate many other abilities. Mirror image of. One is that my mirror image clone can fuse his mirror image after killing the ability person, so as to obtain his ability, or eat the devil fruit. Then the ability that the last mirror avatar brought me should be the fusion of the main body. The difference is this feeling, the feeling of life and death. In the few years in the new world, I have never felt the oppression of death as before. I can only squeeze out my potential in the line between life and death, just like now, mirror profound truth and mirror fusion. Lu Chengkong shouted in his heart. The turbid, empty eyes immediately disappeared without a trace, replaced by a bright light that made people dare not look at each other. The 3 clones who had been helping Lu Chengkong to resist the attack of Hades immediately in the shape of a going triangle, Lu Chengkong was surrounded in the center and slowly rotated. This strange change immediately attracted everyone's attention. In fact, when Whitebeard desperately stood in front of Lu Chengkong, everyone knew that if he was going to turn the tables, they would look at Lu Chengkong. Now, seeing this strange the changes in the hearts of those who did not want to die immediately ignited the fire of hope. Here for me, Lu Chengkong only felt that a piece of information appeared in his mind from nowhere. It was about the fusion of mirror images. As he shouted loudly, the 3 mirror images revolving around him were spinning faster and faster. When it was about to become a black shadow, the 3 mirror image clones merged into Lu Chengkong's body at the same time. Humph! Lu Chengkong snorted softly, and a dazzling light flashed from his body suddenly, making people close their eyes in vain. This light came suddenly, and it came and went quickly. When this light disappeared in the past, when everyone opened their eyes, they found that Lu Chengkong's appearance had changed a lot. Originally, the demon scales covered on the body due to the second stage of the demon transformation have all disappeared and returned to normal, but a black crystal with a 4-cornered rhombus similar to a crystal appeared on the forehead, and a silver crystal was depicted in the center of the crystal. The quaint array is very small, but it is very delicate and incomparably mysterious, as if it is changing all the time. The same 4 demon wings on the back have disappeared, replaced by a pair of silver-black wings that are very similar to the fallen angel's wings, but if you look carefully and touch it with your own hands, you will find that although it looks similar to the fallen angel's wings, the wings of fallen angels are very similar. But those above are not silver-black feathers at all, but hard and sharp demon scales. Obviously, these demon scales are shaped like the feathers on the wings of fallen angels, and they look very similar to the feathers, so these are not the wings of a fallen angel at all, but the wings of a demon. The originally dark and deep black hole-like eyes have disappeared, but they are replaced by silver-black eyes. Silver and black are perfectly intertwined, which looks very white and harmonious. This look looks a lot more handsome. Compared to the second part of the devil's transformation, it's really a lot more handsome. Hee. With my current look, I will definitely be able to fascinate a lot of girls. Hey, it seems that this is not my wishful thinking. I didn't expect that Bulhair, Aunt Xiao, Kuina, Tina and Tashigi all looked at me with a fascination. It seems that I am very attractive. Lu Chengkong thought very proudly, that in fact it was not his white love. He had a handsome face originally, plus years of fighting and the high-ranking aura he had cultivated as the four emperors, and because of the insolence, domineering, free and easy and uninhibited brought about by the blood of the devil, all these are combined without a trace of conflict to form a mysterious and attractive temperament. In addition to his current appearance, he is simply many times more handsome than the fallen angel. He needs to have appearance, body and figure, temperament, imposing, strength, and gentleness. Gentleness, be kind to your wife and be kind to your wife. If you add them all together, let alone sisters like Tashigi, even Belle Hire and Aunt Xiao, mature beauties who have gone through years of washing, are heartbroken. He's so handsome. Nami, Nojiko, Nami, Kikyo, Margaret. The other girls are not nympho, and their minds are also very firm, but seeing Lu Chengkong like this, he couldn't help but admire. Of course, they are only out of pure appreciation and admiration for beautiful things. If other people are countless times more handsome than the current Lu Chengkong, they will disdain them if they are attracted countless times. It's very handsome, but I still think Your Excellency Chengkong looks the best. Compared with Shirahoshi, Hancock, Khalifa, Angelina, these mature beauties are another way of saying it. Although they all admit that Lu Chengkong is very handsome and attractive now, and his lethality to women has reached 100%, but these cannot be eaten as food, nor can they change their original intentions. In their psychology, Lu Chengkong is normal. The appearance is the best and the most pleasing to the eye, the most fascinated and infatuated with them. 284 Head to Pluto. This is only the appearance, the change of the charm, and the improvement. What really attracts 99% of the people is the improvement of Lu Chengkong's strength. If the previous Lu Chengkong gave people a feeling as unfathomable and terrifying as the black hole of the universe, then the current Lu Chengkong gives people the feeling of being the most ordinary adult man. The power, momentum, and control of everything have been improved qualitatively. How much has his strength improved? Garp can be said to be the most relaxed on the scene. It can even be said that he is a bit heartless. In his words, he has done everything in his life and lived so long, even if there's nothing left to die for. In the original book, what left him the most was Roger's death and Ace's death. One is that he has no ability and can't change it, and the other is that he has the ability to change, but he can't change it, no more. With the fall of Ace, Kaxi didn't have the feeling of gloomy liking in the original book. It's hard to say. You are also a dual practitioner of hockey and physical skills, what do you think? Sengoku had already let go of everything when he saw the Gorosei, 5 elders who killed Marine. In the past, because he was Marine's marshal, even if he didn't think so. He is willing but has to do a lot of things that Baiji doesn't want to do, but now he is no longer a marshal of Baiji. There is no conflict with Lu Chengkong, and of course there is no hostility when he looks at Lu Chengkong. Hockey's words are hard to say. Don't forget that his hockey has always been very weird. Hockey has never been there, and you have ignored a little. Even the people you have raised have ignored a little. The Sky Kid has never been there until now, having used his hockey. Everyone was attracted by his physical changes and powerful and strange fruit abilities, and ignored his hockey. Quote. Garp said it word by word at the end, but his words were like a sledgehammer that kept hitting everyone's psychological side, even the Gorosei, 5 elders hiding in Hades. Hiss. Sengoku, no. Everyone who heard the words couldn't help taking a breath. Yes, Lu Chengkong's sturdy performance, powerful and terrifying fruit ability, mysterious the violent transformation ability attracts everyone's attention. Let them all accidentally ignore Lu Chengkong's hockey, and Lu Chengkong hasn't used his weird hockey in front of outsiders for a long time, and his deliberate changes are so powerful, so many people ignore it for a short time. Normal. If you don't tell me, I really forgot his hockey. The red-haired Shanks was sluggish for a while and then came back to his senses, but his eyes were still full of surprise. Obviously, Lu Chengkong's original devilish hockey reminded him it's very profound, but unfortunately they don't know that Lu Chengkong's devil-colored hockey has become more powerful, and has become a devil-colored hockey of the same level as the emperor-colored hockey, otherwise they may be even more shocked. Look, Brother Chenkong's hockey is very powerful. Kaya raised her head proudly, as if that powerful person was her own. In fact, in Kaya's heart, Lu Chenkong and her the second meeting had already left an indelible mark on the heart of this little girl at that time. In her heart, Lu Chenkong will always be the strongest, the most powerful, before, now, and in the future. Baiyu has Lu Chenkong and the 5 people resisted most of the attacks. The rest of the attacks were basically tsunamis created by the Sea Kings summoned by Shirahoshi or resisted by the Sea Kings as inner shields, so the people here it is still very safe. Hockey. The following Sengoku and the others did not expect that what Baiji and others had just said were all passed down to Lu Chenkong's ears. The corners of his mouth couldn't help raising BB, revealing a wicked smile. Since you are all looking forward to it so much, then of course I can't let you down. Demon Emperor Hockey, open it for me. Lu Chenkong let out a loud roar, and a violent aura that seemed to destroy the world, like a nuclear bomb explosion, swept forward under Lu Chenkong's incomparable control, and all the black and red energy light cannons were all gone. The exceptions are like ice and snow encountering fire, and they melt in an instant. Hee, it didn't disappoint me. The Demon Emperor Hockey is simply at 2 different extremes from the Emperor Hockey. One is fierce, domineering, and absolutely powerful, and the other is full of destruction, violent with a will that devours everything. The former is the emperor-colored hockey of the woman Hancock and Tenryubito, and the latter is the unique demonic-colored hockey belonging to Lu Chenkong. Impossible. Alkiba, who was in Hades' cabin, glared angrily and roared. Although he is not the owner of Conqueror Hockey, he is not the chosen one, but he is very affectionate after more than 800 years. Although Conqueror Hockey can make the ability person unable to use the ability when they are covered and oppressed, it is absolutely impossible to destroy the ability of the white fruit that has been launched by Hockey alone like Lu Chenkong. How is this possible? Even if his hockey is peculiar, no one has ever had it, but it is absolutely impossible that such a terrible hockey exists. Yes, in Alkiba's heart, if this hockey exists, it is simply a bug, but in fact it is the same. Lu Chenkong was a bug when he came to this world, so his ability is also a bug. It is normal, but it is a pity that Alkiba will never be able to know this. What a mighty hockey! Whitebeard's eyes were full of surprise but not a trace of jealousy. Hancock, can your emperor-colored hockey do this? Khalifa, whose face was as pale as paper, finally let go of his dangling heart after seeing Lu Chenkong's rage, and asked Hancock on the side with a light breath. I can't do it now. If I have the same strength as Chenkong, I can do it, but the way is different. My emperor color and his demon emperor color are different. His is mainly devouring and dissolving. I focus on being tough and destructive. Boa Hancock frowned, as if he was thinking, and said with a half sound on his crisp red lips. Then the conqueror in the past was able to cover the ability users and couldn't use their abilities, but the abilities that had been released, such as the ice below, couldn't make it disappear. But the current Emperor Pack Hockey, is it possible to release the ability to release, such as people who have been frozen in ice? Quote. Angelina said, and asked a question that made everyone very curious. 285 Outsiders watch the fun, insiders watch the doorway. No, I think you misunderstood it. It's hard to explain, you can see for yourself. Boa Hancock vetoed. But she also knew that words alone were difficult to describe. So speak with facts and let them see with their eyes. Saying that, Boa Hancock immediately released his emperor-colored hockey against the ice field with a radius of 10 meters under his feet. In an instant, everyone felt that Hancock had undergone an amazing change. His appearance and figure had not changed at all, but his momentum and breath had changed. At this time, Boa Hancock is like a godless emperor who is high above the sea. One look is enough to make people surrender, and one look makes people unable to have the idea of confrontation. At the same time, he is generally as fierce as the invisible power of sharp gold. The imposing manner accompanied by an absolutely powerful force directly hit the ice ground below. Boom! A heavy crash sounded like two huge stars colliding together and suddenly exploded on the ice ground. Under everyone's gaze, the ice ground attacked by Emperor Haki seemed to be crushed. After a while, it was crushed into powder and dissipated between heaven and earth, leaving a pool with a radius of 10 meters. Outsiders watch the fun, insiders watch the doorway. Boa Hancock's attack from the emperor-colored Haki seems to just create a pool with a radius of 10 meters on the ice, forcibly crushing the ice within this range into powder. Whitebeard, Ace, Enel, Akainu, etc. Logia, Paramesha, etc., which have a huge range of destructive power, seem to be far behind. But Whitebeard knew very well how terrifying the power of the emperor-colored Haki just now was. Even at this time, Whitebeard had already simulated in his mind what would happen if the enemy he faced was Boa Hancock, and he came to a conclusion: then he just couldn't move, couldn't dodge, and could only withstand Hancock's attack. Just like the woman who was possibly one of Tenryubido's 12 kings, an emperor-colored Haki in the past, even if Angelina was in a state of nothingness, she could not avoid being forced out of her entire state of nothingness and changed back. In the original form, the whole person was pressed on the ground and unable to move, and then he was subjected to the terrifying force impact of the Emperor's color wave after wave of fierce and domineering. Of course, that woman just pressed Angelina with the Emperor's color, and did not use the Emperor's color to attack her. Otherwise, Angelina's strength at that time alone would not be able to die anymore. It's really talented and talented from generation to generation. Each has been leading the way for hundreds of years. Although Lao Tzu has regained his youth and his strength has improved greatly, he still has a feeling of being old in the face of these new stars. After Whitebeard came to a conclusion, he couldn't help but let out a sigh, reaching his strength and already qualified to know the Emperor's color Haki, so Hancock and other women did not come out to avoid suspicion. As for the garp that may be heard below, Red-haired and others are not worried at all. With their ability, it is impossible to know what the Emperor's color is. At most, they only know the existence of Haki, which is more powerful than Conqueror. Because even if Hancock unreservedly explained all the mysteries of Emperor Haki in front of them, even if he directly released the attack caused by Emperor Haki on the ice like just now, they couldn't understand it, and only Whitebeard understood the Emperor. The royal color is terrifying. Others are confused when they see it, and they even have an idea in their hearts just how powerful an attack in such a large range can be. This is the gap between strength and realm, and it is impossible to surpass the bottom of the four emperors. Knowing the horror of the Emperor's color, of course, when Whitebeard reached this level, he only understood the terribleness of the Emperor's color Haki. As for the mysteries of the Emperor's color, he didn't understand at all. The world of One Piece King of Pirates is so old, although Conqueror Haki is only one among millions or even millions of people, and there are only a handful of strong people who can successfully awaken Conqueror Haki and grow up. A few, but there are definitely many strong people who have accumulated over the years and have grown up with Conqueror Haki. But how many people can have Emperor-colored Haki? At least Liu Chengkong knows that 2 people have it so far. Needless to say the second is of course Boa Hancock. The difficulty of getting the Emperor-colored Haki how big no one knows better than Hancock. So Whitebeard saw and felt the horror of the Emperor-colored Haki the most. The possibility of having an Emperor-colored Haki is close to 0. Of course, there is a chance, but the chance is pitiful. Shanks, don't think about it. If you don't reach their level, you won't be able to understand the mystery even if you think or look at it. If you are like this, it may even leave a psychological shadow, which will affect your road to becoming stronger. There are only disadvantages and no advantages, you just need to know that there is an emperor-colored existence on the Conqueror. Quote. Pluto Rayleigh looked at the red-haired Shanks, who had grown up with him, and said immediately. It's just that he was stunned as soon as he said it, because he realized that what he said seemed to be heard only by Shanks, and no one else could hear it at all. After taking a closer look at Pluto Rayleigh, he was sure that he was not hallucinating and was watching. When he was facing Liu Chengkong, he realized that Liu Chengkong was also looking at him. Sure enough, that guy is very attentive. Those girls seem to say these secrets at will, but the only people who often hear me talking to Hancock and the girls just now are me and Shanks, and this kid's crew. Other people can't hear it at all. Just saw a 10-meter radius ice layer disappearing from the ice area in front. It must be that this guy used some kind of ability so that others can't hear it, only those of us can hear it. Quote. That's right, there is nothing wrong with the idea of Rayleigh. When Khalifa asked about this idea, Lu Chengkong used the ability of the Fruit of Time to pause the time. Except for the members of the Easy Pirates, Whitebeard, Rayleigh, and Shanks in addition, other people can't hear the words of Hancock and other women and Hades Rayleigh. And what Shanks wanted to say, but after seeing the eyes of the Hades Rayleigh, he immediately carefully paid attention to the surroundings. She was originally very smart and thoughtful, and she immediately thought of the same idea as Rayleigh just now, and she closed it very smartly. On the mouth. After all, it's good for them to know these things. What other people know is only bad for them and not good at all. Today's things about Emperor Hockey can only be heard by them, and they must be rotten after hearing it. In the stomach, cannot tell anyone. 286 defeat Hades. Hey, even if your hockey is strong, I don't believe you can keep using this kind of hockey for 3 days and 3 nights. All of you will die under the bombardment of Hades, give me death. Al-Kiba recovered quickly after being surprised, but his eyes were full of murderous intent. Hades seemed to hear his words, and the frequency of the attack was even faster. Wave after wave of destroying light cannons continued to shoot at Lu Chengkong. The sky was filled with light cannons in front of him. This scene was really too spectacular. Not comparable to Akainu's meteor volcano. After fighting for so long, it's time for this battle to end. Lu Chengkong looked at the sky and thought that he was coming towards his face, carrying a light cannon that destroyed everything. His face was indifferent, and there was nothing in front of way. The powerful attack of Lu Chengkong changed color. His right hand slowly lifted, and a mysterious energy wave rippled out from Lu Chengkong's right hand in all directions like water ripples. Wherever they passed, all the light cannons encountered by a stream of energy stopped without exception. With the wave of Lu Chengkong's right hand, a cold shout came out, rewind time. All light cannons immediately out of control. The light cannon shot by Pluto turned around and flew towards Pluto almost instantly under the influence of time reversal. Boom! A series of explosions sounded one after another, and the black and red cargo owner soared into the sky, and the terrifying destructive energy rippled out in all directions. An ancient weapon is only a weapon when it is powerful. Relying on one weapon alone is like destroying me. It's just wishful thinking. Compared with people, weapons are too far behind, even if this weapon has extremely terrifying power. Lu Chengkong looked at the huge ship that had been eroded by his own attack. Hades, sure enough, although this ancient weapon was attacked by him, it was not destroyed. It seems that it should still be able to attack, but Lu Chengkong is a little don't worry. After the mirror fusion, his strength has improved to the point that no one can guess. Even he himself has a kind of indulge in this powerful power, and almost can't extricate himself. It seems that the strength has increased too much at one time, and I can't control it. Lu Chengkong secretly said, and at the same time knew that he could not delay any longer. Although he really wanted to experience the powerful strength in this state, the series of battles and injuries, plus the time for the devil to change is coming, he can no longer think about it, and now he must leave here first. The strongest profound meaning of time, the torrent of time. The refrigerator opened its hands upward, and a mysterious energy appeared just now, but it was many times stronger than the previous energy. Obviously, this is the fruit of time brought to Lu Chengkong. Time energy. For a moment, the time in this space seemed to be completely grasped by Lu Chengkong. Lu Chengkong seemed to be incarnated into the law of events. With his thoughts, the flow of time would change in different ways, and the energy of time turned into a terrible torrent. On the enchantment created by Hades. With the attack of the torrent of time, the enchantment created by Hades disappeared without a trace. Sure enough, the ability of the fruit of time is too powerful. Although my fruit of nothingness is ranked above the fruit of time, I can't resist the erosion of time without nihilization. It seems that the fruit of nothingness is more powerful than the fruit of time. ranking at the top is purely for nihilistic reasons. Quote, Angelina glanced around, and if she wanted to escape, even the barrier of Hades couldn't block her. After all, once she used nihilism, it wouldn't even be able to erode her time and space. It would be easy to leave. But she didn't do that. But now seeing the torrent of time created by Lu Chengkong's single-handed time fruit, it was as if time had really flowed backwards, and time had returned to the time when this enchantment had not yet appeared, so this enchantment could only disappear. Get out of here. While speaking, Lu Chengkong folded his hands into fists, and two light balls between white and transparent appeared in his fists, wrapping his two fists. The fist was punched, and the space suddenly made a sound of shattering. The ability of Zhenzhengguo was used again by Lu Chengkong, but the power was many times stronger than what Whitebeard tried before. The shock wave like a huge wave directly blasted Pluto, who was still attacking, and at the same time, another punch hit Pluto's ship directly. Click. The incomparably hard Pluto hull could not withstand this attack at all, and inevitably made a sound of glass breaking. Although the hull did not break into countless pieces, it became scarred and tattered, as if a ship would collapse at any time. The ships are ordinary, and there is no longer the kind of prestige that appeared at the beginning. As for the red-haired pirates and the Whitebeard pirates, they had already started to retreat back when the enchantment disappeared. After all, they also have self-knowledge. Not only will they not bring Lu Chengkong any help by staying here, some are just negative tired. It just made them strange that Lu Chengkong didn't continue to pursue Hades after launching the vibration wave twice. Instead, he returned directly to the Xin Xiaoyao at his ghostly speed like a teleportation, and entered without saying anything. Cabin. Except for Hancock and the girls who stayed outside to press the field, and Nami who controlled the happy, the other beauties seemed to smell the unusual smell and went in directly. The captain's room, which was originally very spacious, was immediately filled with people. Ah, Chengkong. The moment Lu Chengkong returned to the captain's room, a few women followed him in and found that the moment before, he was still majestic and mighty. Lu Chengkong, who was like a demon emperor for a lifetime, actually closed his eyes, trembled all over, and a pair of demons behind him feather wings were immediately folded, and Lu Chengkong's body immediately fell backwards. Aunt Xiao, who was quick-eyed and quick-witted, immediately caught Lu Chengkong. A princess hugged Lu Chengkong and placed him on the bed. Portgas D. Dana seemed to have known that this situation would be encountered, but she followed her in. The strong life energy was like spring water, usually sprayed out directly covering Lu Chengkong's body. The other women immediately held their breaths, as if they were afraid that their breathing would disturb Lu Chengkong. After a long while with Portgas D. Dana collected her life energy and didn't say much for a while. Robin, who exuded intellectual beauty all over her body, was uncharacteristically. The first one asked, Is he all right? What's the matter? When did little Robin care so much about him? It's not like you. Gulina immediately laughed at Robin, and as soon as her words came out, the dignified atmosphere was relieved. 287 Aunt Xiao took off my clothes. Although the dignified atmosphere was relieved, it was based on the fact that Nico Robin felt shy and blushed. After Juliana's prompt, the girls also discovered Robin's abnormality, so they all looked at her with ambiguous eyes, especially the drunken deliberately Na and Margaret who lived with her. Don't think about it. Nicole Robin, who was originally the most calm in the original novel, could no longer maintain her calm expression full of intellectual beauty, and her pretty face was almost dripping with water, especially when she saw Margot Wright and Kuina's eyes were eager to find a hole to dig into. He's nothing, it should be the last special transformation time, and the time for his demon transformation is also here. These ability to improve strength, and the ability to increase strength so much have certain side effects, if he is usually the most. That is to say, if he is weak for a day or two, his strength can only show 60% to 70%. But now the double weakness will cause him to fall asleep, but with his inhuman resilience, even without the help of me and Khalifa, he can recover in a week. Come here, there will be no sequelae. Quote. Just when Nico Robin almost couldn't help slamming out the door, Portgas D. Dana's words undoubtedly attracted the attention of the girls and rescued her shy ostrich. So he's fine. The girls breathed a sigh of relief, and Nami and Nojiko, a pair of sisters, showed no doubt about their hearts, smiling like flowers. It's superfluous to think if he has anything to do. It's better to take a rest than to think about this. After all, today's experience will be of great help to you both in strength and spirit. Take a good rest. We may finally be famous tomorrow. Raise the world, and Liu Chengkong will become a well-deserved, godless emperor who reigns on the great waterway. Even One Piece King of Pirates Roger can't compare to him. After all, he has only completed the voyage of the great waterway, but this kid has defeated the ancient weapon. Pluto can even be said to have overthrown the world government. To do this alone, the Revolutionary Army is simply the difference between the firefly and the sun. Quote. Portgas D. Dana looked at Liu Chengkong, who was sleeping soundly on the bed, with complicated eyes. Time flies by so fast. Before you know it, the little devil who used to be like an ant in front of her has grown to the point where he reigns over the world. A man can stop the going of his every step. The speed of this kind of development and progress is really too fast. It can be said that there is no one before and no future. The probability is also great. When the girls heard the words, they looked at each other and saw a trace of exhaustion in each other's eyes. Obviously, what they experienced today is not too big for most of the beauties in the boat. Although they are not tired, their minds are. It consumes a lot, especially the constant bombardment of Pluto at the end. Although Liu Chengkong and others and Shirahoshi blocked them, they were all at peace with each other, but the terrifying sense of oppression and crisis continued to plague their body and mind, just because Liu Chengkong and Angelina and their daughter were always together. Standing in front of them, they couldn't be without confidence, so they were all aroused arrogance, and even competed with each other in private. Now that the matter has passed, it is relatively safe for the time being. The tension in my heart is loosened, followed by a tide of exhaustion. Under the persuasion of Portgas D. Dana and Juliana, the girls also went. An equally large room next to the captain's cabin rested. What everyone didn't expect was that night, something big or small happened in Liu Chengkong's room on the Xinxiaoyao. The door that had been closed beside the captain's room suddenly opened quietly. Although it was night, I couldn't see the face of the person who came out of it, but I could still tell from the outline of her figure and hairstyle. She was Aunt Xiao. It's so late, they're all asleep. The dark and windy night is really convenient for me to do things. Aunt Xiao lightly opened the door of the captain's room, and crept up to the man who had been sleeping on the big bed. In front of Liu Chengkong, the pair of autumn water-like eyes constantly looked at Liu Chengkong's face. It's a pity that what she said next because of the old disrespect. If Nami and other women heard it, she would definitely blushed. I didn't expect that I would have a crush at this age. This time I can get through this time without incident. I will let you go, but I will let you taste something more exciting. Quote. While muttering to herself, Aunt Xiao took off the quilt covering Liu Chengkong. Maybe she was already prepared. She actually took off Liu Chengkong's clothes very skillfully. The times are average, but if you look carefully, you will find that Aunt Xiao's movements are very skilled and fast, but her jade hands are still shaking slightly, obviously telling everyone that she is doing this for the first time. It's a little cold. What's the matter, Where's my clothes? What Aunt Xiao didn't expect was that Liu Chengkong, who was already asleep, suddenly opened his eyes, but Liu Chengkong, who had just woken up, suddenly opened his eyes. Zhang Kong was still in a daze, and when he saw that his clothes were gone, and there was another person riding on his body, he immediately screamed like a victimized woman. Don't bark, you little pervert, don't think I don't know, you've been awake since I came in, and you're still pretending. The quick-eyed Aunt Xiao immediately covered Liu Chengkong's mouth, causing his screaming to stop abruptly. Stopped, Liu Chengkong said with a sullen look at the same time. However, Aunt Xiao's next action made Liu Chengkong speechless. When Liu Chengkong first met, he was a little strange. He was very good in his eyes after knocking down so many beautiful women, but he could see Aunt Xiao at a glance. It was definitely a good person, but at that time he didn't think much about it. He just thought that Pluto was dead when Aunt Xiao and Pluto got together, so there was no way to do that. After seeing Lu Chengkong wake up, Aunt Xiao only paused, and immediately continued to take off Lu Chengkong's clothes. After a few seconds, Lu Chengkong was naked, and Aunt Xiao seemed to be afraid of Lu Chengkong's thoughts. Crooked, holding his clothes like no one else, he also told Lu Chengkong about his relationship with the Hades Rayleigh. It turns out that when Aunt Xiao was a pirate many years ago, she was hunted by Vice Admiral Garp. Just when she was about to be caught, the Roger pirates passed by, so Pluto Rayleigh rescued her. Aunt Xiao, who didn't like to owe favors, was also very powerful at that time, at least admiral-level combat power. Although she couldn't beat Garp, she was also a rare powerhouse, so in order to repay her kindness, Aunt Xiao joined the Roger pirates, intending to help the Roger pirates accomplish the feat of navigating the Great Channel. 288 Aunt Xiao came to push back. Later, the Roger pirates really completed the feat of navigation and entered the mysterious laugh tale that no one has ever walked through. And after so many years of sailing on the sea, Aunt Xiao, who was tired of this kind of life, felt that the kindness she owed in her heart had been paid off after Roger completed this feat, and after Roger died, there was no need to stay and left directly. As a very rare female member of the Roger pirates, many people in the Roger pirates are pursuing her, but unfortunately Aunt Xiao, whose eyes are above the top, did not like them. Later, she planned to live in seclusion in Sabayati Archipelago. Many people in the Roger pirates planned to follow her, in order to make these people give up, stop following her, and let her live a stable life. So Aunt Xiao directly, shocked, Rayleigh with a powerful method, and let Rayleigh pretend to be her husband, and Rayleigh, as the deputy captain of the Roger pirates, has a high prestige. After chasing to Aunt Xiao, there is no heart to compete, so they gave up, and they also knew that Aunt Xiao wanted a peaceful life and left each other. So that's it, I'll just say it. The first time I saw you, I found out that you were a chick. At that time, I thought Rayleigh couldn't do it. It turns out that the two of you are pretending to be husband and wife. Lu Chengkong, after listening to it, he said suddenly. PFF'd. When Aunt Xiao heard this, she was stunned for a while, and then she burst into laughter. You brat has a lot of crooked thoughts. If the old man Rayleigh knew about it, he might be stunned. Ha ha. Lu Chengkong also realized how wrong his thoughts were. He smiled awkwardly, thinking about it. Although Rayleigh is in his 60s or 70s, don't forget, Rayleigh, Shanks, Garp, these simple hockeys and the strong physique, how powerful is the physique? How could it not be possible, even if it was much weaker than when he was young? It was definitely not impossible, and it was no wonder that Aunt Xiao would say that if Rayleigh knew Lu Chengkong's idea, it might be possible to pass. Ah! Suddenly Lu Chengkong, who was still a little embarrassed, couldn't help taking a breath, and almost couldn't help but scream in comfort, because Aunt Xiao took advantage of the time just now to take off all the clothes on her body. Got into the bed. Apart from that, he actually opened his red lips and swallowed Lu Chengkong's dragon. Because it was the first time, the movements were very green and unfamiliar, but even so, it still brought Lu Chengkong a huge sense of pleasure. Especially seeing Aunt Xiao lying on his crotch like a puppy, and looking at him with a pair of eyes that were pleasing to him, Lu Chengkong felt a sense of conquest in his heart. In fact, although Aunt Xiao is the first time, she has lived for so many years, she can be said to be a good person. In addition, she has lived with Lu Chengkong during this period of time. With her experience, she can understand Lu Chengkong very clearly. Of course, she knows herself. What should be done to make Lu Chengkong more comfortable and more satisfied with himself? After all, in the beautiful family of happy pirates, she is not the most beautiful. In fact, her appearance can only be regarded as middle and upper, and she has only recently joined. Compared with other people, she is too far behind. It's about feeling but not feeling. But her mature and moving charm, plump figure, and provocative posture, that mature charm is not Kaya, Nami, 17 or 18-year-old girls can compare, and it can be said that she has her own advantages. But she knew that her advantage would soon be gone, so she had to work hard, and she was willing to do so in her heart, and even enjoyed the process. After all, she is this kind of woman, and she doesn't like what she doesn't like. She doesn't even bother to look at her. On the contrary, if she accepts you in her heart, just like she made up her mind to accept Lu Chengkong in the previous Battle of Gorosei, 5 elders, then it would be embarrassing to ask her to do it for Lu Chengkong. She doesn't feel uncomfortable about anything. Hence the present scene of devotion. Her movements are very green, but every movement she does, including looking at Lu Chengkong with flattering eyes, etc., is for Lu Chengkong to enjoy more and make himself more. He stepped into the heart of the man in front of him. Go deeper. Lu Chengkong breathed a sigh of relief. It was really cool. This kind of conquest of the body and mind was accompanied by waves after waves of nerves flowing through the whole body and finally all converging in the brain. Aunt Xiao's mouth was bulging, but the words were not clear, but the general meaning was still understandable, that is, come right away. Speaking of which, Aunt Xiao immediately took action. The first time she served Lu Chengkong with a small mouth, she actually played the difficult action of deep throat. Fortunately, Aunt Xiao was very powerful and had already mastered her body control, so although she could do it, it was a bit hard, but after a few times, Aunt Xiao, who had mastered the knock on the door, immediately became relaxed and freehand, which made Lu Chengkong exclaim, "Chengkong, you are injured today, let the slave family serve you," Aunt Xiao said with a spring expression, highlighting the giant dragon that was soaking wet by herself. Okay. Lu Chengkong quickly understood Aunt Xiao's good intentions, and he couldn't help but feel a warm current in his heart. He was so moved that he glanced at Aunt Xiao, thinking about it. Aunt Xiao's innate condition for facing Hancock and other women is insufficient. After all, Hancock and other women need strength and strength, youth and youth, appearance and appearance, temperament and temperament, body and figure, and even feelings and feelings. And it may get bigger and bigger. I won't argue with them. I just want to live happily ever after with the person I like, and I'm not forcing myself. Aunt Xiao saw Lu Chengkong's eyes, and she was overjoyed, and immediately realized that she had succeeded. Lu Chengkong's favorable impression, so he spoke out his own psychology, without a trace of concealment. His eyes were as clear as water. At the same time, twisting his plump buttocks, he placed his most beautiful and secret peach blossom garden in front of Lu Chengkong, resisting the shyness in his heart and letting Lu Chengkong appreciate, play with, and satisfy his best side without reservation. In this situation, Lu Chengkong only felt that his lower abdomen immediately ignited a mass of desire that was even hotter than Yang Yan, and he almost couldn't help but howl, but it's better to bear it with the state of mind of a strong man. She couldn't bear the desire to work hard and pressed Aunt Xiao on her body, starting from the jade feet up a little bit, kissing her whole body without letting go anywhere. At the last moment, Aunt Xiao took the initiative to turn over and press Lu Chengkong down, staring at Lu Chengkong with eager, hot, satisfied, fearful, and shy eyes, and then she twisted her waist and sat down fiercely. Suddenly a mournful but satisfying whimper sounded, and immediately became one with Aunt Xiao and never separated from each other again. 289 Robin, it's your turn. Ah, it's really refreshing to have a happy event. The next day, when he woke up last night, his whole body was weak, and the mentally exhausted Lu Chengkong found that although his body had not fully recovered, he could at least get rid of it. The bed moved freely, and the spirit recovered a lot, and the feeling of exhaustion was gone. Am I born with yin and yang, or a combination of yin and yang? No, I don't remember my own ability to be so powerful. Could it be brought about by the blood of the devil? Does a relationship have such an effect? Lu Chengkong raised his head and looked at the sun hanging high in the sky. He couldn't help but think about it. In fact, it wasn't entirely wrong for him to think so. None of the women who are together are simple. It can be said that the aura of heaven and earth is gathered in one. Not only are they beautiful, but they are also powerful. Of course, getting their pure yin body is not comparable to that in the world on earth. After all, everyone in that world is mediocre, even if they are soldiers fighting on the battlefield, special forces are placed in them. At most, there is one of the most common dragon sets. Even if you get how many ordinary women for the first time, it will not have any obvious effect, but it is different here. The bodies of men and women here contain extremely terrifying and exuberant vitality, which is extremely powerful, and the energy is not comparable to that of ordinary Earth people. Of course, the combination of two strong men will have unexpected benefits, just like Lu Chengkong. Aunt Xiao had saved the yuan yin that had accumulated for so many years, and Lu Chengkong was cheap. It was only natural that he could recover so quickly. According to the speed of recovery, it doesn't take a week for me to fully recover my full strength and return to my peak state. Not only that, maybe my strength will be improved after this time, and I will use the fusion of demon transformation and mirror image. The time will be longer and the improvement will be greater. Quote. Lu Chengkong couldn't help clenching his fists when he thought of this, and a pressing aura burst out from him involuntarily, and immediately attracted the attention of Robin, who was lying on the beach chair and reading a book. How do I do it well? Do I really like him? How is it possible? Although he is very good, but there are so many women around him, he is too distracted. Yes, it must be so. I am grateful for what he has done for me, that's all. It must be like this. No matter what Robin thought at this moment, but her brain seemed to have lost control of her body, she stood up instinctively, drank the book in her hand, and walked gracefully, exuding an intellectual beauty all over her body. He walked in front of Lu Chengkong. Lu Chengkong seemed to be aware of it, turned his head, and Robin also happened to look over. His eyes met, facing Lu Chengkong's deep black hole, full of fatal attraction. The very complicated Nico Robin only felt that her soul suddenly trembled, and the idea that had already been decided was immediately thrown into the clouds. Nico Robin was already fascinated by Lu Chengkong's eyes after contacting her, and she didn't have any extra thoughts to think about other things, as if Lu Chengkong was born to be a woman's nemesis, and had a fatal attraction to women. Robin, what's wrong with you? Lu Chengkong saw Nico Robin's dull gaze, and he felt proud for a while. It seems that brother's charm is really not ordinary. Even the original man is full of intellectual beauty, calm and gentle. Wisdom beauties are attracted by their own charm. Lu Chengkong is extremely proud of thinking of this. Ah, no, nothing, I'm fine, I'm just surprised to see you come out so quickly, so come and see if you can help. After all, I don't think you've fully recovered yet. Nico Robin was shocked when she heard the words, and two blushes flew on her pretty face. She couldn't help but smashed herself, and scolded herself for how old she was in her nympho. Robin deserves to be Robin. He calmed down so quickly, hee. Lu Chengkong also admires Robin who has recovered so quickly. Although Nico Robin is calm and wise, her complicated how could Fang Xin hide from Lu Chengkong's discerning eyes, but it was precisely because of this that Lu Chengkong couldn't help but give birth to a very evil idea. Robin, you've read so many books, so you should know more about cultural relics with historical value, or some more special things. Lu Chengkong pretended to know nothing and changed the subject. If it's recorded in the book, I can still tell the difference. What's the matter? Did you find something of historical value that I need to identify? Nico Robin didn't know Lu Chengkong's evil thoughts at this time. Instead, he said cheerfully. Nicole Robin has always been on the boat because she has nothing to do with Khalifa Hancock and other women and is a little depressed. Instead, she quietly waits for the opportunity that she can help everyone. Now Lu Chengkong's words make her think that Lu Chengkong has some antiques. She needs to recognize things like that, and she is certainly happy to be able to use her talents. I see, then I think you should have read it in the book. There shouldn't be much historical value. After all, it has only existed for no more than 50 years, but it is definitely a very special and different existence from ordinary people. Chengkong's mouth. If Hancock and Khalifa, who knew Lu Chengkong's sweethearts at this time, were here, they would definitely shout. Lu Chengkong would definitely say some embarrassing words next. Really? What is it? Where is it? Nicole Robin was a little disappointed when she heard the words, but after hearing the latter words, she recovered immediately. At the same time, she was also aroused by curiosity, but Lu Chengkong did not when he said it immediately. He turned around and walked to his room. Nico Robin was stunned for a moment, then followed after hesitating for a while. It's a pity that Nico Robin didn't notice the cunning in the eyes of Boa Hancock and Khalifa not far away. Otherwise, the smart Nico Robin would definitely notice the unusual, but it's too late now. Khalifa, what happens when you drown Nico Robin? Boa Hancock asked, pretending not to know. Do you need to say this? Don't think I don't know what you think. Although Robin is smart, her childhood experience has made her very mature and rational, but in the face of her husband, do you think she can escape from her husband's palm? Even if it is as proud as you have not been captured by your husband. Khalifa was white, and Boa Hancock, who knew what to ask, also thought to herself that Nico Robin was doomed to be eaten by Lu Chengkong from the moment she took the step just now. 290 Robin exploring my brother. Chengkong, it's all in your room, can you take it out now? In fact, this is the room that Lu Chengkong and all the girls love, especially last night's battle with the crazy slut like Aunt Xiao Chengpan. There is still an air of arrogance in the air. So although Nicole Robin is A and has never been exposed to this aspect, but her experience from childhood to adulthood and her extensive knowledge of books, she is very wise. Apart from the initial confusion, she quickly understands this. What's going on? Bah, it's too embarrassing. No, I have to get out of here quickly, or I may fall into it. Nico Robin really deserves to be Nico Robin, although she is very shy and flustered, but she has not lost her sense. At this moment she already sensed that something might be wrong. And at this time, she couldn't avoid the most real feelings and thoughts in her heart, because after understanding what the smell in the air was about, she found that her heart was sour and uncomfortable, so she knew her heart unconsciously, he was captured by Lu Chengkong. At the same time, she also found that Lu Chengkong after the Gorosei, Five Elders battle had obviously changed a lot compared to before. If she had to say what the change was, she had become more active than before, not as much as before. Secretive, more decisive about feelings and women. If you like it, go after it, then go to all means to get it, no matter what means, it doesn't matter. It can be said that after waking up, not only Canis and other girlfriends have transformed, but even Lu Chengkong is the same. Now there are so many beautiful women on his boat, it's time to get one by one. Nico Robin is the first one after Aunt Xiao. Robin is here. Lu Chengkong's eyes are very old-fashioned. How can he not see that Nico Robin has found something wrong at this time? How to run away? But the complicated emotions in Robin's eyes also make Lu Chengkong understand that Nicole Robin is not without feelings for herself. I have won her favor, and even have a strange feeling, but because I have too many women, and Nico Robin is also very rational, I don't want to share Lu Chengkong with other women, so I kept suppressing this thread that just appeared. It's a pity that she can't help her at this time. After all, the feelings are coming, but they can't stop them. Coupled with Lu Chengkong's acquired efforts, how could Nico Robin escape? Saying that, Lu Chengkong grabbed the jade hand of Robin who was about to escape, and directly placed her jade hand on the majestic dragon that he did not know when he had risen high. This is, so big. Nico Robin only felt a scalding heat immediately after starting. This heat was very strange. Even a few hundred degrees of flame would burn with her strength. It didn't scald her, but there was a strange heat that made her unable to resist, and the moment she started it, it flowed all over the body along the veins of her jade hand. At first, she really didn't know what it was, so she stopped her steps to leave immediately. Driven by curiosity, she made a conditioned reflex to look over, and she saw that her jade hand was actually holding Lu Chengkong's dragon. She screamed suddenly, but while screaming, she did not forget to sigh that it was so big. That's right, Lu Chengkong's giant dragon is not comparable to human beings at all. It is like his existence beyond the limit of his strength. At this time, Nico Robin also fully understands that Lu Chengkong's sentence may have no historical value now, but absolutely out of the ordinary. Although it was the first time she touched a giant dragon, the knowledge she learned from the book introduced that even if a man is huge, it is impossible for a man to reach such a terrifying level. This terrifying size is enough to get it in one fell swoop. Woman's life. Can this kind of thing really be accommodated by women? No wonder Hancock and the others are so loud, they may be really comfortable, blah blah blah. What are you thinking, Robin? Didn't you decide not to join them? What? Can think of these things. Quote. Nico Robin blushed. She wanted to let go, but Lu Chengkong held her tightly, and at the same time, she felt as if she had fallen into the sea. Her body's strength was constantly being pulled away at an astonishing speed. How about it, Robin? Although it's not a historical relic, and it doesn't have any historical value, but I don't think there's anything bigger than it in the past. It's definitely worth studying, but you have to give me a good study. See if something is wrong. Lu Chengkong found that he had really changed a lot after waking up. Many things that he couldn't say before were now like pouring water. It was easy and simple. Nothing has changed. He also sat on the bed brazenly and pressed Robin next to him. His right hand was pressing Robin's jade hand while his left hand was quietly wrapped around Nico Robin's waist. Obviously, he planned to attack the east and west, and attack from the left and right. Well, don't be like this. I don't want to fall into your place. I don't want to like other women. You. Let me go. Nicole Robin was panting. She found that she really had no strength. Well, I can only say for mercy. It's a pity that her pitiful appearance not only did not make Lu Chengkong feel pity, but aroused Lu Chengkong's desire. Left and right, it took a minute to finally put the clothes of Nico Robin, who was constantly pinching and blocking, taking it off. It revealed its crystal clear, jade-white skin and figure, and Lu Chengkong was dazzled when he saw it. Robin, how is it, big? A man doesn't care because he doesn't have the strength and capital. I have the capital. I think you can see it. It's definitely strong enough, even if it is dozens of African lions. It can't be compared to it. Robin, you can't escape. I won't let you leave me no matter what. Even if I forcibly tie you by my side, I will tie you for the rest of my life. Even if you hate me, it doesn't matter. While stroking Nico Robin's delicate body, Lu Chengkong constantly stimulated her desire, making her eyes almost drip with water, and at the same time said incomparably overbearing words. But these words fell into Nico Robin's ears. I don't know why, but they didn't hate it at all, but felt a little sweet in my heart. Hee, it seems that Hancock is right. When love comes, it's like a storm. It can't be resisted at all. Originally, I also liked him. He has done so much to me, so how can I be so kind to him? Do you really want to deceive yourself if you don't have any feelings? 291 Eat Nicole Robin. Just when Nico Robin was thinking wildly, Lu Chengkong had already completed the feat of conquering the city and conquering the land. Last night, Aunt Xiao kissed every part of Lu Chengkong's body in order to please Lu Chengkong. Every inch of Nico Robin's body was covered with snow and skin. When Nicole Robin came back to her senses, she immediately felt the suffocating pleasure coming from her peach blossom garden, which made her not even have time to breathe. Even her very reserved beauty couldn't help but let out a shameful cry. Moan. No, don't. At this time, Nicole Robin already knew that she couldn't escape. She had been drinking this domineering man her whole life, but she was so obsessed with him that he could not be separated anymore. But as a future on the surface, beautiful women who have experienced personnel still have to be reserved and duplicitous. Robin, don't say it now, it doesn't matter, you'll want it later. Lu Chengkong smiled evilly. The giant dragon on his lower body has reached its peak, and if he doesn't charge again, there may be a burst of swelling and pain. As soon as these words came out, Lu Chengkong drove the proud dragon to start the last wave of attacks, and ruthlessly occupied Nico Robin's most mysterious place of shame, the Peach Blossom Land. Ah, it hurts, can't you take it easy? Nico Robin's pretty face immediately turned white, without a trace of blood. The severe pain flowed down the nerves all over the body, causing her to keep taking a mouthful of cold air. A pair of jade hands she pressed firmly on Lu Chengkong's chest, as if to push her away, but her pair of slender jade legs were tightly wrapped around Lu Chengkong's waist, as if she was afraid that if she let go of Lu Chengkong, she would walk away. Although Nicole Robin knew that it would be very painful to accommodate it when she saw the amazing size and hugeness of the Lu Chengkong giant dragon, she did not expect that fantasy is beautiful, reality is cruel, and the actual pain is far from imagination. The only thing that can be compared among them is that when Lu Chengkong occupied a moment of her own, not only was there no anger in the depths of her heart, but there was a sense of relief and satisfaction. Not long after the pain, the captain's room began to play a beautiful melody. This kind of music can most stimulate the primitive instincts of human beings, so that many people outside hear Nico Robin's coquettish voice, not yet. For example, Margaret, Kikyo, Kuina, etc. Women blushed. At the same time, they all laughed unanimously in their hearts. I didn't expect that a mature Robin would be so slutty in bed at ordinary times. It's unexpected. If Nico Robin knew the thoughts of the girls at this time, it might be alive. Passed out of breath. That's right, the pain brought by Lu Chengkong's terrifying size for the first time is definitely not comparable to other men, but at the same time, the tidal pleasure of the pain is far from what ordinary men can bring. No matter how shy her brain seemed to have lost control of her mouth, and she would groan with every impact from Lu Chengkong. It was already 3 hours later when a battle was over. Although Lu Chengkong could not be satisfied at all, Nico Robin was the first to break his body. Although he was a beast, he definitely didn't want to be a beast. Nico Robin has already tried her best to cater to herself, so even if Lu Chengkong is satisfied, he will not be lashing out against Robin when he reaches the limit. Maybe it's my destiny to be with him, but I didn't expect him to be very gentle. This was Nico Robin's last thought before she fell asleep. Obviously Lu Chengkong took care of her body and resisted the desire of her lower body to let her. She was very moved, and at the same time she began to accept her identity as Lu Chengkong's wife. With this touch and tenderness, joyful Nico Robin fell asleep like this. Yo yo yo, our big lover picked a mature and beautiful flower ant shell last night, and now he ate Robin, who is full of intellectual beauty. This time, it's not going to be someone else's idea, right? Just as Lu Chengkong stepped out of his forefoot, he heard a voice full of jealousy when his face changed color. Needless to say, the only people who would talk to Lu Chengkong like this were Khalifa and Hancock, who fought for Lu Chengkong at the beginning, and only the two women in the past would say this when they were jealous of themselves, and now it's only Nami, the little goblin. Apparently, Lu Chengkong picked 2 succulents in a row in one day and one night, making the succulents bloom, making Nami, a beautiful woman who was so delicate and moisturizing, very dissatisfied. However, looking at Nami with a sour expression on her face, Lu Chengkong realized that he had been ignoring her, not her feelings, but her changes. It may be because of Lu Chengkong's nourishment, and if Lu Chengkong had intentional or unintentional before, the Nami at this time is very similar to the Nami 2 years later in the original book. It should have been short hair, but it turned into a wavy hair ahead of time. She has long orange hair, and her height seems to have grown ahead of time. She is only 18 years old now and is exactly the same height as she was 20 or 2 years later in the original book. It can be said that Nami, who is only 18 years old at this moment, has developed in advance in terms of body and appearance. It is exactly the same as Nami in the 2 years in the original book, and even her buttocks and breasts are better than 2 years later in the original book. The Nami is even more tall and plump. After all, one is the of the original book, and the other is a beauty who has been nourished by Lu Chengkong and continues to develop into a mature woman. Of course, there is a big difference between the two. And because of Lu Chengkong's interference, Nami not only did not lack maternal love, but also did not have to wander around the sea to make money at the age of 10, stealing money, adequate nutrition, and her strength continued to become stronger. She was both temperament and stature. Far from being comparable to Nami, who was in the same year as the original book, even the Nami who was 2 years after the big event may not be as plump and mature as the current Nami. What's wrong? My little orange is jealous. It's so sour. Lu Chengkong suddenly laughed when he heard the words, and grabbed his arms forward. In her heart, she really wanted to stay in Lu Chengkong's arms and act like a spoiled child. Lu Chengkong's actions immediately reduced her jealousy by 1/3, and a little thing could make Nami extremely sweet. HMPH, who is jealous of you? Nami pursed her lips and denied, but the joy that flashed in her eyes was something she couldn't hide from the girls, especially her sister Nojiko, who made a chirping sound. She laughed, and only when she faced Lu Chengkong would Nami show her innocence like a little girl. 292 Find the Revolutionary Army to settle accounts. Of course it's my little baby Nami. Lu Chengkong lowered his head and kissed Nami's clean forehead, and the hand that wrapped around her waist immediately climbed up to Nami's increasingly huge jade girl peak. Up and down his hands straight to Nami made her panting before she put Nami down. Bastard. Nami's pretty face was like a red glow. After landing, she immediately gave Lu Chengkong an angry look, and ran behind Nojiko, her beautiful eyes almost dripping with water. Just now Lu Chengkong made out with her in front of so many sisters. Although Nami was very happy in her heart, she was more shy, so the moment Lu Chengkong put her down, she slipped away like a thief. Seeing Nami's cute and naive appearance, Lu Chengkong was very happy and enjoyed it, especially after looking around for a week. He realized that he had unknowingly already had so many confidants, and they were all deeply in love without exception. His own made him very proud, even more proud than dominating the Great Waterway. In fact, the news of the Battle of the Headquarters at Sea had already spread throughout the Great Waterway yesterday. At this speed, it may not take a few days for even the places where the windless belt is slow to receive this kind of information. And Lu Chengkong came to the Marine headquarters like a god, single-handedly defeating all the highest combat power and CPO on the surface of the Marine headquarters has made Lu Chengkong's reputation to the extreme. Gorosei, 5 elders, who had not appeared for hundreds of years, actually appeared. These 5 long-known strong men who have been dead for many years in the eyes of outsiders did not die, and their terrifying strength immediately made countless people in the world die. The government's opponents were almost scared, but in the end, Lu Chengkong and the Happy Pirates' powerful performance actually defeated the Gorosei, 5 elders with the ancient weapon Pluto, and the prestige in an instant has completely surpassed the dead One Piece King of Pirates Roger. After all, it is remarkable that Roger has completed the voyage of the Great Waterway, but the powerful Roger does not have the capital to compete with the world government, but the easy pirates have, not only confronted the world government head-on, but also defeated the world government. How could it not shock countless people? At this moment, the Happy Pirates can be said to be the most powerful pirate group. No one has come to question this, and Lu Chengkong, the captain of the Happy Pirates, is a well-deserved great channel. There is no one of the highest emperors in it. Wow, the speed of information dissemination is really fast now, but one thing I didn't expect is that the Gorosei, 5 elders had already cut off those video transmissions, but the later battles were actually broadcast, which is really strange. Nami finally bought a poster after negotiating with the seagull above, and the seagull who gave the poster had a lot of lingering fears. In the end, Lu Chengkong threw a bailee on it, and the seagull obviously recognized Lu Chengkong. Immediately called out to Lu Chengkong cheerfully, as if wishing him a blessing, and immediately flew away. Let me see. Kanas, Kaya, who are too young to close Hancock, Khalifa's calm and mature woman immediately trotted over and looked at the poster in Nami's hand. Really, who can spread the word? Forget it. Wow, our Happy Pirates were actually called the Emperor Pirates by them. It's really majestic, but Zhang Kong, you are more powerful. Are you happy to say that you are the Supreme Emperor of the Great Waterway? Kaya said excitedly, her beautiful and innocent little face flushed as if she was talking about herself. I don't have much interest in being an emperor. To manage this and that, I want to be a decisive and free demon emperor. Lu Chengkong smiled indifferently, and stretched out his hand to scratch it. Scraping Kaya's little Chong's nose, completely ignoring Kaya's annoyed white eyes. Lu Chengkong and Kaya, the little girls, were playing around for a while and inadvertently found another noble and charming Li Ying in a relatively secret corner, standing on the side looking at the vast ocean. A kind of the desolate breath slowly drifted out. What's wrong? Salas doesn't seem very happy looking at you. A voice suddenly sounded beside Salas, causing Salas, whose eyes were blurred, to slowly recover. It's nothing, I just found that I seem to be a little out of tune with you. When you are externally, you are in the same direction, like an invincible and terrible team. Internally, you are like a family, which makes me very envious. Sadness flashed by. Hee, I know you can't let go of the past, but it is also, the revenge of destroying the country is not so easy to let go. Remember what I said to Hawkeye. As long as I, Lu Chengkong, are not dead, then the free and easy pirates will be. Any one of you will be fine, didn't you tell me at the beginning? As long as you can avenge you as a slave and a maid, you don't care, but I rejected you. It's not that you are not beautiful, on the contrary, as long as you are a normal man, I can't wait to push you down. The same is true for me, but I want you to solve this hatred by yourself and come out of the shadows of the past. Quote. Lu Chengkong whispered. Why did the calm voice like a pool of stagnant water fall into Salaz's ears? But it was like a magical charm that calmed Salaz's mind that was at a loss. What do you mean? Salaz is not stupid after all. On the contrary, she is very smart, especially after discovering her own shortcomings and becoming stronger. Salaz has become more perfect. After 3 years in the New World in the bloody battle, Salaz, a princess who used to be a royal family, helped Lu Chengkong handle a lot of things. So when Lu Chengkong said these words, she immediately understood the meaning of the words, and her eyes suddenly burst into a long-lost light and hatred. That's right, we had to face Marine before, and we had no time to distract ourselves in the bloody battle in the New World. Now it's different. There is extra time at this time. If we don't help you relieve the hatred, it's too much to say. Lu Chengkong nodded, obviously acknowledging Salaz's words, but he did not look at Salaz's watery face that was about to drip with tears. Instead he turned around and left after leaving those words. I hope you don't forget that you are also a member of the Happy Pirates. Since you think that Khalifa and I are a family, then you are also a part of this family. The reason why you feel that you are out of place, why not from yourself find the reason, and ask your teacher if you don't understand. Dana cares a lot, and she didn't hint to me once that she wants to help you get revenge. 293 Salaz's tears. I see. Salaz heard the words. She couldn't control the tears in her eyes anymore. It dripped down like pouring water. But why this time there is no sadness in my crying, but a trace of relief and warmth. Not to mention the complicated feelings of Salaz at this time, Lu Chengkong had already arrived on Whitebeard's boat. Seeing that the old man of the past had recovered to a young and strong man in his 20s and 30s, his heart was also towards himself. A series of actions are very satisfied. Don't go to the Three Treasures Hall for everything. This sentence comes from your mouth. What are you doing when you have a good gentle township and don't enjoy running over on the boat of my poor old man? There is a rule in chatting with Whitebeard, that is, you must with a pot of wine. Even One Piece King of Pirates Roger obeys this rule, and only Lu Chengkong doesn't need to do this in the world today. Cut, Whitebeard, I think you should change your opinion too. You've regained your youth now. What kind of a bad old man you are now. This time I'm here to tell you that I won't go back to the New World with you. I think let me tell you something, remember to control the pirates in the New World after returning to the New World. Although the world government has not fallen, the situation of the Gorosei, 5 elders at this time is also in name only. Without the suppression of the world government, they may be in chaos. Come on, although the weak eat the strong and the fittest survive, it's not good if you let them mess up too much, not to mention I have to prepare to deal with things on the other side. Quote. That's right, although Lu Chengkong is not a good person, he even thinks that although he is not a bad person, he is not related to good people, and she doesn't want to be a good person, a hero. He deeply remembered it. I know what to do if you don't say it, but I heard the redhead say that you made a bet with him, saying that you would rule the Great Waterway. What's the matter? Now it's up to you, but there is a great chance, if you want to rule, although it's easy to say, but it's not too difficult. Whitebeard laughed and agreed directly. I'm not doing it now. Didn't I just say that I'm going to do another thing? Lu Chengkong said in a pointed way. Is it the Revolutionary Army? Are you planning to attack him? Whitebeard's eyes flashed. He was not an idiot, although he was arrogant and straightforward. it didn't mean he didn't understand this, it was just that he didn't bother to think about it. Originally, I didn't want to attack them. It's a pity that one of my crew members had her country destroyed by the Revolutionary Army before joining the free and easy pirates. As I said just now, the weak eat the strong. They could sacrifice this country at the beginning. It's nothing, I can only blame Salaz's country for being too weak, but now that Salaz is strong, then I, the captain, are embarrassed to stop Salaz from taking revenge. Lu Chengkong nodded. Hey, it's complicated enough. Forget it, I don't care about Lao Su's business. You can do it as you like, but there is one thing I hope you will remember. Whitebeard's face suddenly became very solemn. This is the first time Lu Chengkong has ever seen such an expression, even in the face of Gorosei, 5 Elders Whitebeard. What? Lu Chengkong was also curious when he heard it. It was definitely a big deal to make Whitebeard show such an expression at this time. I had forgotten about it, but when I saw the Gorosei, 5 Elders were still alive, and the body of the 20 kings, I remembered, since the Gorosei, 5 Elders can survive, then the 20 who created the world government, why can't the king survive? Although one is dead, there are still 19, and I noticed that when the Gorosei, 5 Elders released that person again, they were very afraid, as if they were afraid of being discovered. It seems that the Gorosei, 5 Elders are still afraid, even fearful people. Quote. When Whitebeard saw that Lu Chengkong had come to this point at such a young age, he was not arrogant at all. He admired him very much. Only such a person could make him admire him. Hee, Whitebeard, you're right. In fact, I suspect that the 20 kings still exist. Although I don't know how many there are, at least I know that there is one. Lu Chengkong smiled bitterly. It was really something that shouldn't be mentioned, but Whitebeard mentioned it, so Lu Chengkong told Whitebeard all about the mysterious girl. You kid is really good, so when you were young, you actually fought against such a person and ate her fruit ability, so she should be one of the 20 kings. I know how terrible your mirror fruit is. However, I still have lingering fears. To be honest, I have never seen an ability as terrifying as the ability of your mirror fruit for so many years in the New World. Even the ability of the replica fruit is far inferior to yours. Whitebeard immediately looked at Lu Chengkong with incomparably complicated eyes. Obviously he did not expect that Lu Chengkong would have so many secrets. But that woman actually said that the fruit in her hand was no worse than yours, and it was Logia's. Logia's top fruit abilities basically appeared. Although neither the creation fruit nor the destiny fruit appeared, the creation fruit obviously did not. It may be compared to your mirror fruit, then Logia, and sometimes the only fruit that can compete with your mirror fruit is the fruit of fate. Quote. I think the same way, the people like 20 kings have existed for too long, and they are too far away from their era. We can't understand many things clearly. But one thing is for sure, that woman was with me back then. She said that she would come to me, and I also had this hunch that she would come to me soon. At first, I thought her strength was at the level of Gorosei, 5 Elders at most, but now it seems that she is obviously stronger than that of the 5 Elders. Gorosei, 5 Elders are much stronger. Lu Chengkong said. I don't even know what to say about you, you are truly a peach blossom. Whitebeard's tone suddenly became a little gloating, and Lu Chengkong couldn't help but fight. Is this still Whitebeard? Che, it's not that my brother's charm is great. Well, I won't tell you. I will come to you after I clean up the Revolutionary Army. Laugh Tail, I think I should go in and see what secrets there are. Lu Chengkong gave Whitebeard a fierce look. Of course he knew that Whitebeard was just making fun of himself, so he didn't care. Okay, I'll be there waiting for you. To be honest, I haven't even been in Laugh Tale, and the legend of Roger should end. My friend can be considered to be righteous, but if you want to enter Laugh Tale, you must defeat Lousy, or else I won't let you in. 294 Revolutionary Army Headquarters. Although Whitebeard knows that he is not Lu Chengkong's opponent, he has regained his youth. In the original book, he was helpless and could not pursue the path of being a strong man, but now that everything has returned to its peak state, of course he wants to make himself stronger. Further, the best way to improve his strength is to find someone who is at the same level as him and who is stronger than himself. Lu Chengkong is undoubtedly the best candidate. Okay, that's fine, I'll fight you next time we meet, and choose the island near Laugh Tale, the end of the Great Passage. Lu Chengkong agreed without thinking. Although his strength soared very terribly after using mirror fusion, under normal conditions, Whitebeard is definitely on the same level as himself. Fighting against such a person is only good for him, not bad. And he also needs to maximize the power of the stunt of mirror fusion faster in actual combat. Refreshing, I just like you like this. You are very popular, you will agree if you don't agree, you will never agree. Whitebeard hummed Isho. Obviously Lu Chengkong's words made him very satisfied and happy. Saying goodbye to Whitebeard and the redhead, the sailing route of the Easy Pirates changed immediately. Instead of heading for the New World, they went to East Blue, the Great Waterway. Because the real headquarters of the Revolutionary Army is hidden in East Blue, which is also discovered by Lu Chengkong accidentally. In the New World, Lu Chengkong and Whitebeard are basically controlled, and Marine's influence has no way to penetrate into the New World. Then the Revolutionary Army is even more unlikely, so the most likely place for the Revolutionary Army in the Four Seas is East Blue, which seems to be the most calm and weak. Speaking of which, it's up to you, lackey, to discover the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. Lu Chengkong chopped off lackey, who was like a goddess of war, and said with a chuckle. It's their bad luck. They actually photographed their leader when they were testing the scout. Lackey, Pucci, Isho, obviously this is also luck. After knowing that Marine has a high-altitude shooting and tracking machine, Lackey has developed this. The idea of a machine-like machine was finally developed after many studies, and the function is more powerful than Marine's. When these scouts were released for shooting, a figure was accidentally photographed. If other people saw him, they would definitely think he was a trickster, but Lu Chengkong, who was a foreigner who traveled through the world, was immediately attracted by her figure after seeing this person. Although he couldn't see the outline of his face clearly, but judging from the figure and his clothes, this person is undoubtedly the revolutionary dragon, Mengqi D Dragon. Therefore, Lu Chengkong sent Enel to scout the photographed place to explore. After Enel combined with the perverted observation hockey of Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, he finally discovered the location of the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. It has to be said that it was a matter of luck, otherwise Lu Chengkong would not be able to find where the Revolutionary Army was even if he had the strength to destroy the Revolutionary Army. East Blue. I didn't expect to come here again, the red-footed Zeph guy is okay. Lu Chengkong glanced at Logatown, the place where the end and the beginning, finally came here again. Yeah, I didn't expect that. It was Marine before, and it wasn't long before Hina became a pirate. A beautiful woman with pink hair stood beside Lu Chengkong, looking at the town in front of her. Her eyes were very complicated. This person is Tina. Smoker and Tashigi miraculously survived the Gorosei, 5 elders battle in the Marine headquarters. After the justice of the one who had always stood by their hearts collapsed, the 3 of them were also very confused about the future for a while, but later under Lu Chengkong's persuasion, all 3 of them joined the Happy Pirates. Smoker entered Enel's arc motto. As for the other 2 women, of course, went into Lu Chengkong's new pleasure. Hina, actually, I've been wanting to ask you a question for a long time, but I'm just a little embarrassed to ask it. Lu Chengkong turned his head and looked at Hina's face carefully. In fact, Hina is also in the world of One Piece, King of Pirates. A first-class super beauties, although not as good as Hancock, but they are also on the same level as Nami and Tashigi. Now, under Lu Chengkong's compulsion, she even quit cigarettes for women. Perfect. You ask, Hina doesn't mind. Hina can be said to be a very distinctive beauty in the world of One Piece, King of Pirates. Every sentence will have the word Hina. If this habit falls on others it will be very disgusting, but it is very distinctive in Hina, which makes her more attractive. Why do you have the word Hina in every sentence you say? Lu Chengkong stared at Hina with puzzled eyes after speaking. Obviously he was really curious. Hina doesn't know either. Hina has been like this since she was a child. Hina was obviously the first time she heard someone ask herself this question. But looking at her appearance, I know that he didn't hide it on purpose, but really didn't know, just like why people walk. This can be regarded as an innate instinct, and there is only this explanation. That's it. Lu Chengkong didn't delve into it. After all, he was also curious for a while, and he also saw that Hina didn't lie to him, and he knew it from the way she was thinking hard and frowning. Forget it, Hina doesn't want to, it's not bad anyway. Hina cried for a while and couldn't get an answer, and then quickly put the puzzle aside. After not doing marine, she seemed to let go of everything burdened. The whole person seems to be a lot more cheerful, as if he has regained his originality. Yes, it's best to restore your own nature and essence. Don't put too many shackles on yourself. Lu Chengkong nodded and said in agreement. Just as Lu Chengkong and Hina were chatting without a word, time slipped away unknowingly. The sun that had been hanging high in the sky had already descended, the blue sky and white clouds had disappeared, and instead it was pitch black. Night sky and shining bright stars. At the speed of the new Xiaoyao's sea navigation, the shellfish and the impact shellfish were used alternately, so that the sailing time that would have taken several days was shortened to 1 day. I really didn't expect that this seemingly ordinary island would actually be the hidden headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. It seems that this guy is really worthy of being the leader. Who would have thought that even the people in the Marine headquarters would doubt the revolution? The headquarters of the army is in the New World, so how could one expect that East Blue, which is the most tightly controlled and the weakest in Marine headquarters, is the most dangerous place and the safest? Lu Chengkong thought to himself, but there was an icy murderous intent in the depths of his incomparably calm eyes. 295 The Temptation of Nami Chrysanthemum. Isn't the base of the Revolutionary Army in Baldij, the island of white soil? Tashigi, who was super short-sighted, asked incomprehensibly, looking at the islands in front of him that had no features and were scattered all over the great waterway. If Dragon had only such a little IQ, he would have died countless times. The Revolutionary Army is not the world government. As long as he has not had the strength to confront the world government, then the Revolutionary Army is evil in the eyes of the world. Dragon is also a criminal. Have you ever seen criminals reveal their headquarters to the world? Lackey said suddenly, who was wiping the weapon in his hand. That's right, Baldij on the island of White Earth is just a superficial base. The real headquarters is here. Baldij on the island of White Earth is just an existence used to confuse the sight of outsiders. The core strength is here. Lu Chengkong nodded, agreeing with Lackey's words. But this island is not small, but it's not too big. It's nothing special at first glance. It's relatively spacious inside, and there are no dense forests. Anyone who knows observation hockey can explore it. How is this possible? As a former Marine, and she was trained by Marine headquarters as a future admiral, Smoker knew a lot of secrets, so he really couldn't believe that the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army would actually be here. This is where Dragon is smart. Remember the underground of Marine headquarters. Where did Gorose, 5 elders and Hades come out? Lu Chengkong's words were no less than a blow to the 3 smokers. You said they were underground. Smoker and Tashigi exclaimed at the same time. Yes, that's the only way to avoid being detected by observation hockey. They are deep in the ground. Even the observation hockey of an admiral-level powerhouse can't penetrate into the depths of 1,000 meters, but they deserve to be unlucky. We have an observation hockey to pervert guy on board, and his observation hockey coverage is speechless. Quote. Lu Chengkong glanced aside and raised his head proudly, for fear that others would not know that person was his enel. So they are all underground, haha, these guys with hidden heads and exposed tails asked this girl to force them out. Juliana stared at the island in front of her with bright eyes, and excitedly pulled out Muramasa's tangible sword. The anger had quietly covered Muramasa's sword, and Tashigi, who was watching from the side, was very envious. Have you been diligent again? This woman's progress is really fast, but it's no wonder that with this group of perverted guys, it's impossible to make progress if you don't want to. As a great swordsman, Mahak's vision is not comparable to Tashigi's. Juliana's casual movements can see that Juliana's strength has become more sophisticated, but it is also clear that his eyes are scorching and calm. Know that he is also improving. One knife flow, earth cracking. The momentum on Juliana suddenly changed. Juliana, who was usually approachable like the girl next door, disappeared immediately, and was replaced by a terrifying female swordsman who shattered the world. Suddenly, Juliana seemed to have transformed into a giant with a height of over 1,000 meters, holding a huge sword in her hand, as if to crack the earth together. It was immediately split open, forming a deep gap, and finally the terrifying sword she slashed the island in front of him. Boom! Different from Eagle Eye's powerful cutting, Gulina's sword skill is not about cutting, but cutting in two. This time, instead of cutting the island in front of her in half, the sword skill actually cracks the entire island. When it opens, it is divided into countless stones about 1 meter in size. If you carefully identify the stones, you will find that each of these split stones is exactly the same size. Obviously, Juliana's mastery of sword chi has reached the peak. What an exquisite control, what a powerful slash, Tashigi and Kuina said dumbfounded. Kuina is better, after all, she has lived with her mother for a while, and of course she knows her mother's strength, but the scene in front of them is not good for them. It was too shocking for the two girls. It's really amazing. Hawkeye's tone could not hide his admiration. Obviously, Juliana is really amazing, not only to test the strength of her sword skills, but also to cut extremely sharply. On the contrary, Juliana walked as motionless as a mountain. When the sky fell apart, the mountains and rivers shattered, and the whole route of destruction was taken. Just like the slash just now, Hawkeye would cut the entire island in half. Juliana is the overall destruction. If you go to the extreme, Hawkeye may cut the whole world in half with a single knife, but Juliana destroys the whole world into countless pieces with one knife. In the realm, it seems that Hawkeye is not as good as Juliana, but it is not the case. Everyone is the same, it just depends on whose cultivation base is high. Haha, I don't believe that their abilities won't come out. Even if they can stay underground for a while, they won't be able to come out after a long time. Muramasa looked at the sea with no islands in front of him with interest. Don't be happy so early, there are many talents in the Revolutionary Army, even if they can't compare to the world government, they are not bad, and there are many capable people. Not to mention that their leader Munchi Dragon has the fruit of weather and can manipulate the weather. Abel, quote. A light flashed in Lu Chengkong's eyes, and the strength of the D-Dragon could be said to be a big secret in the pirate world, but as a leader, he was at least at the level of the 4 emperors, otherwise it would be too embarrassing. What? He is the power of the weather fruit. It's abominable. I like this fruit the most. Why did he eat it? It's so mad at me. Nami's fist hurts even Luffy in the original book. Hee, Nami, I'll give you a surprise later, but how will you repay me? Lu Chengkong said pointedly. Really, if your surprise makes me satisfied, then I will give you the back like Aunt Xiao did. Nami, who had been rambunctious, immediately stretched out her head and whispered against Lu Chengkong's ear when she heard the words. After she finished speaking, she herself was pretty blushing. 296 Munchi D-Dragon. Haha, it's a pity that the excited Nami completely forgot that all the experts were present, except Smoker, Tashigi and Hina, the eagle-eyed Mahawk on the Ark and the boat's eagle-eyed Mahawk. Enel and others couldn't hear them. All the women on board heard it clearly. In particular, Juliana and Dana, the two most joking guys, chased and made fun of Nami for a while, making Nami's face blushed almost dripping with water, and she almost didn't find a hole to get in. Since my Nami likes this weather fruit so much, how can I, the husband, let my wife down? Lu Chengkong hee isho, his confident appearance made Nami infatuated for a while. If this sentence was heard by outsiders, it would definitely be unbelievable. After all, the ability of the fruit that was eaten can still be given to the person he wants to give. This is simply impossible, but Nami unconditionally believes that Lu Chengkong can do it. Why haven't you come out? The headquarters of the Revolutionary Army is not here, or those people have left. Let's go. Fukuro, who was standing on the ark's motto, said suddenly. Hee, Fukuro, carefully perceive the changes around you. Lu Chenggong smiled. Fukuro and the others heard the words and immediately focused their minds to perceive them. Sure enough, they found that the temperature around them began to change, and the temperature began to drop continuously. After that, the sea froze unknowingly, and the temperature had dropped to below zero, but for Lu Chenggong and others, it was no different from the normal temperature. Controlling the weather, controlling all kinds of meteorological elements, it is really powerful. The temperature is controlled, but it is a pity that this fruit falls into the hands of navigators to bring it into full play. As a navigator, Nami is very concerned about the meteorological elements, the weather. The changes of waiting are fast, but she is very sensitive, and the changes of seats cannot escape her perception. The combination of weather can indeed produce effects that ordinary people can't produce in your hands, but Dragon has been immersed in this fruit's ability for so many years. I don't believe that he will not notice this. He definitely learned the knowledge of navigators. He must have been to Sky Island, so don't underestimate him. Lu Chenggong's gaze froze, as if it turned into a sharp sword that directly pierced the frozen sea, breaking through all obstacles and seeing what he wanted to see. Pretend to be a ghost. Salas was the first to hold back the anger and hatred in her heart. Her eyes flickered, her feet a little, and she immediately disappeared in place, and appeared on the frozen sea almost at the same time, with long and straight jade feet like a sickle. Itachi kicked out suddenly, splitting on the frozen sea, directly opening a deep gap. Salas, who has rarely shown her strength in front of outsiders for a long time, has no reservations this time. Armament Haki, Renkyaku Tempest Kick is very powerful, making the faces of Rob Lucci and others on the side change dramatically. They are all practicing physical skills. Of course Rokushiki knows how terrible the Renkyaku Tempest Kick is. Even Lucci wouldn't dare to say that he can do it with all his strength, but Salas's appearance is obviously random. Aren't you coming out yet? Salas's voice carried a trembling hatred. The temperature around was already low enough, it was cold enough, but Salas's voice was even colder. Sure enough, as soon as Sherry's words fell, 13 figures jumped out of the deep cracks. It was obvious that their skills were not weak. Looking around, there were 10 Shichibukai-level warriors and 2 Admiral-level warriors. With the addition of a dragon whose strength is unknown, this force is no less than the apparent strength of the Marine headquarters. It is no wonder that the Revolutionary Army has not been wiped out for so many years. The Marine's inability to deal with them is the most important reason, but the more important reason is that the Revolutionary Army is obviously very powerful, even worse than the Whitebeard pirates in the original book. The strength is even stronger. After all, besides Whitebeard, the Whitebeard pirates have only one Marco who is at the Admiral level, and the others are only at the Shichibukai level. Whitebeard, who has returned to its peak state. It can be said that Whitebeard alone can sweep the Revolutionary Army, let alone now. Even the old Whitebeard Revolutionary Army in the original book would not dare to provoke. After all, Whitebeard got angry, and the Revolutionary Army had only the chance to escape. Looking at the major events in the original book, we knew that it was basically Whitebeard who challenged the entire Marine headquarters alone. Munchi D. Dragon. Salas was like a phoenix that devoured people. The cold and murderous eyes in the phoenix stared at the man who was shrouded in the cloak in front of him, and said word by word, but she did not losing her composure. She knew very well that being the leader of the Revolutionary Army was absolutely extraordinary. If Lu Chenggong and others made a move, it would be easy to obliterate the people here, but she didn't want to fake it. Lu Chenggong is right, it is best to kill her own enemies with your own hands, and in this way, she will not have any regrets. Lu Chenggong and others have given her the opportunity and strength to become stronger, so she is cultivating it. Was very hard at the time. If it wasn't for Portgas D.'s Dana's fruit of life and Khalifa's light fruit, Salas would have been overdrawn and died alive. However, after so many years of hard work, Salas's gains are obviously huge. Over the years, Salas has been hiding herself from being unremarkable, in order to hide her strength and bide her time, and then a wave of hatred made her hold a sigh of relief. in order to burst out at this moment. Obviously, Salas is not only powerful, but also has a strong state of mind. She knows how to use her strength to 120%. Who are you? I haven't seen you in my memory. Although Munchie D. Dragon's voice is very calm and steady, it doesn't seem to change color at all for the things in front of him, but if you listen carefully, you can still hear it from Dragon's voice, a hint of depression. Obviously, in his heart, he was beaten at the door of his house by a person he did not know at all. And she also handed over her headquarters. Can she not be depressed? However, he did not lose his mind. As the leader of the Revolutionary Army, how could he be a simple person? And he was even more cautious when he saw that the person in front of him was the well-known Happy Pirates. I knew you would forget it. I was the princess of the Fei Shui Kingdom in the past, but I think you, as the leader of the Revolutionary Army, have forgotten that this obscurity was betrayed by you as a small kingdom, but I remember it clearly. Oh, it's time to repay the debt. 297 Salas broke out. Flying Snow Kingdom. Munchie D. Dragon pondered for a while after hearing the words. It seems that Salas said that he was wrong. He really forgot. After all, although he is the leader, how can he have so much time and leisure to pay attention to these things? Moreover, the affairs of Fei Shui Kingdom were all entrusted to him by his subordinates, so it was understandable that he did not know. The leader is a kingdom that Teng Yuan is in charge of. A man with a cock head and yellow hair said to Munchie D. Dragon. What's the matter with Teng Yuan? Munchie D. Dragon's eyes flickered. His tone was flat, but it gave people a kind of oppression without anger and self-pretense. Standing next to Munchie D. Dragon like a guard on the left and right changed his face when he heard the words. Obviously, when he saw Salas, he already knew what was going on. He will survive, and he is very powerful now, and he has also come together with the Happy Pirates. Because Salas deliberately hides herself, Salas can be said to be the only person in the Easy Pirates who has not been rewarded and the only person who has not appeared in public. One of the reasons for her to say this is to prevent people from the Revolutionary Army. Finding herself alive, she didn't want the other party to have the chance to be defensive, and it turned out that Salas was doing the right thing. Teng Yuan, who had been hiding this matter, knew that he could no longer hide it, so he explained it honestly, and the people present fully understood what was going on. It turned out that Teng Yuan went to Fei Shui Kingdom in the name of the Revolutionary Army, intending to persuade Fei Shui Kingdom to join the Revolutionary Army to overthrow the world and conquer the world. With his hard and soft means, Fei Shui Kingdom did join the Revolutionary Army, but he didn't die. The only thing was that Teng Yuan had leaked the rumors. He, the man with the yellow-haired chicken head and the bear who was already dead were important figures in the Revolutionary Army. It can be said that the position is only under the Revolutionary Army leader Munchie D. Dragon. The Marine headquarters who learned the news certainly did not want to let the Revolutionary Army grow, and also knew that there was only one Teng Yuan in Fei Shui Kingdom, so he immediately launched Buster Call, planning to fly Snow Kingdom, and Teng Yuan will stay there forever. Facing the siege of Buster Call and Admiral Akainu, although Teng Yuan's combat power is also admiral-level existence, but his two fists are hard to beat with four hands, not to mention that he is not facing as few as four hands, but Akainu who will do anything. Therefore, between life and death, Teng Yuan ran away without saying a word about Fei Shui Kingdom, so there was Salas who took revenge on Shui Hate today. Damn, I told you not to be so high profile, to be low-key, to let me send someone over to help, betray your trust, just accept a kingdom and just give up and betray it, I said. Why? In the past 2 years, many countries have been reluctant to join the Revolutionary Army. It turned out that you did a good job. Munchie D. Dragon was silent for a long time. This time, his voice had obvious anger. If he stayed at ordinary times, he might have repaired Teng Yuan. Unfortunately, at this time, he knew that the Revolutionary Army had made it difficult for him to ride a tiger. No matter what the reason is, betrayal is betrayal, and it has become a fact. At this time, it is useless to kill Teng Yuan. It is better to face the free and easy pirates first. As expected, he is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, but it's a pity that the people around him are empty-handed and have no brains. Guys like Bartholomew Kuma are the most important to the Revolutionary Army. It's a pity that you have already lost them. There. Lu Chengkong looked at Mengqi D Dragon and thought to himself, how could Mengqi D Dragon's idea hide from him? To be honest, abandoning the two sides is a hostile relationship. He admires Mengqi D Dragon's methods and thoughts very much. Know what not to do and what to do. It's a pity that such a big cause of the Revolutionary Army is not as simple as a pirate group. He can't be comprehensive and take care of all aspects. Now he doesn't punish Teng Yuan, which will make Teng Yuan grateful and will not let him. People around him feel that Dragon betrays his own people in the face of a strong enemy, and it can make people around him more sympathetic to him. Jia's loyalty is convinced. If the Revolutionary Army leaves without incident this time, the strength of the Revolutionary Army may be even higher. Unfortunately, there is no if in this world, because after listening to Teng Yuan's words, Salas couldn't help but take a shot. Shaved, Shigen finger pistol. A very simple Rokushiki attack. Instead of using the enhanced unique abilities of CP9 and others in the original Eni's lobby, they use the simplest attack, but such an attack is very difficult for experts to fight against. When you touch it, you can often get better results. Metallization. Teng Yuan is obviously not someone who sits and waits for death. Mengqi D Dragon and others did not take action because he was worried about the free pirates behind Salas, so he could only rely on himself. He knew very well that if he won, he would be fine. If you lose, then you will really die without a place to die. As the metal fruit capable, Portgas D Dana glanced at Teng Yuan, obviously a little surprised. I didn't expect it to be the metal fruit capable person in the Logia fruit. It seems that the two Revolutionary Army have admiral-level combat power. People are not simple people. Crack it for me, Salas shouted coquettishly. The strong armament hockey condensed on the jade finger, turned into an indestructible knife and slammed directly on Teng Yuan's body. In the face of Salas's sudden attack, Teng Yuan was obviously a little caught off guard. In addition, he is a Logia fruit-capable person, and the conditional launch is elementalization, which should be said to be metallization. Facing the amazing speed of Salas, he can only defend. Boom! Teng Yuan groaned, and the whole person immediately retreated almost 10 meters. Although Salas took advantage of the first shot, it can be seen here that Salas's strength is at least admiral level, or even surpassed. It can be said that today's Salas finally broke out, and the killing intent that had been brewing in her heart for a long time broke out without reservation. Today is really troublesome. Mengqi D Dragon knew that Salas's strength was definitely stronger than Teng Yuan's. After a long time, Teng Yuan had only one way to escape. He didn't want to help, even the people next to him. He wanted to make a move, but it was a pity that he felt as if he was locked by something when the thought just came up in his heart. A voice in his heart told him that if he dared to make any move, he would definitely face the thunderbolts of the easy pirates. Dragon, although I don't want to admit it, but Garp did let the water go when he was chasing me. I won't take action on Salas, but you also besiege her differently, let her solve it by herself. Lu Chengkong's voice sounded directly in Mengqi's D Dragon's ear as if he had entered a secret. The meaning was very simple. He would not take action, but don't think about besieging Salas. You only have one choice, and that is to go with Salas. Heads up. 298 Perfect Press. It's really powerful. Mengqi D Dragon scolded inwardly, and the other party noticed it as soon as he thought about it. It's really scary. It can be said that no one in the Revolutionary Army understands Lu Chengkong's strength better than Mengqi D Dragon. Because in the Gorosei Five Elders battle of the Marine headquarters, he was hidden far away, and he could see the whole battle clearly. Although he believed that his strength was very strong, he was no better than the four emperors. Anyone is worse, even stronger than the four emperors except Whitebeard and Lu Chengkong, but he doesn't think he can defeat Lu Chengkong. So no matter how reluctant he was in his heart, under Lu Chengkong's fist, he could only reluctantly obey, and he could hear Lu Chengkong's implication. Revenge, but also because of your father's reasons, don't know what to do. Golden Dragon roars. Teng Yuan also understood his own situation. How dare he have any reservations, and he made a move with all his strength. A golden dragon, Western lizard dragon, appeared out of thin air. This golden dragon was completely condensed by Teng Yuan's metal energy. 5 elements: gold, wood, water, fire, earth. The most terrifying part of gold is penetration and hardness, which can be said to have the power of sharp gold. It's so slow, this lizard is so ugly. Salas Vivi curled her lips, with a strong disdain in her tone. She forbore it and hid it for so many years, and today she can finally let go of everything and do her best. The resentment in his heart is dwindling at a startling speed. Next, Salas told everyone with practical actions why she would say this, because her speed is too fast, and the world's martial arts can only be fast. But Lu Qingkong said this sentence unintentionally at the beginning. Yes, but when it fell into Salas's ears, it allowed her to find her own way of being a strong man. Speed, yes, speed. Even if the Logia fruit's abilities have a wide range of attacks, at the speed of Salas's arrogance, everyone's attacks were all in vain, and Salas didn't even touch a hair. How could this happen? Fast, fast. Another person in the Revolutionary Army who had a war at the war level, that is, the chicken male head wolf, who was talking just now, flashed his eyes. Although in the Revolutionary Army, he has a different concept from Teng Yuan's. But it is undeniable that Teng Yuan's strength is absolutely no less than his own. But now, seeing Teng Yuan facing a princess who was just a few years ago was powerless to fight against a country, but now, in the past few years, she is strong enough to beat Admiral, and his heart felt like it was overturned for a while. Just like a 5-flavor bottle, all kinds of flavors are in my heart. No, I will definitely die if I go on like this. The leaders and the others are stared at and can't make a move. They will fight. Teng Yuan is a ruthless man after all. Suddenly he gritted his teeth, and a tragic aura burst forth from his body, as if telling Salas that even if he died, it would not make you feel better. As for whether he really intends to perish together, only he himself knows. Torrential rain pear blossom, Fujiwara roared, and countless golden spikes the size of silver needles suddenly appeared around him. Although each of them was very small, the cold light flickering from the spiked head made people feel uneasy. Vertical, so many spikes flew out in all directions at the moment of appearance. Such a large-scale and high-density attack, in Teng Yuan's view, Salas had no way to resist, even if his speed was faster than himself. Use. As for the people in the Revolutionary Army, they had already taken the lead to stay far away when they saw Teng Yuan's expression. Obviously, they all knew Teng Yuan's trick very well. This move is almost impossible to hide. It is like an embroidery needle that is undefeated in the East. It looks extremely small, but its power on people's body is amazing. Lu Qingkong's expression did not change, but he thought to himself, but he was not worried about Salas. Although Salas has not shown herself over the years, as the captain, he is very fond of Salas's strength. How strong? The most important thing is that Salas's face has not changed in the slightest from beginning to end. Obviously, she still has spare strength until now. I see how you dodge. Teng Yuan laughed proudly. He was very confident in his own trick. Even if Logia's ability was elementalized, it was useless, because every spike he fired was covered with armament hockey. Even elementalization will be hit, and the attack range and density are so large that even if Salas is faster than him, he will definitely die. It's a pity that fantasy is beautiful, but reality is cruel. Teng Yuan didn't notice the flash of ridicule in Salas's eyes at all. From the perspective of the Revolutionary Army, Salas was frightened and stayed motionless in midair. It was beaten into a honeycomb by countless thorns. These thorns are extremely sharp, and the penetrating power is very terrifying. The power of anyone is much stronger than the bullet of the blocking gun. Hey, there are only a handful of people who can survive my trick. I haven't seen you in a few years from being a princess with little power to become like this. To be honest, I have to write a letter to you. Vivi ticked at the corner of Teng Yuan's mouth. Showed a smile that he thought was a victory, but it was a pity that his smile froze after only a moment. What's so funny? Don't you naively think that I was just killed by you? Salaz's plain but sarcastic voice suddenly entered Tingyuan's ears, making his face pale. After a sudden change, he turned around immediately, and was horrified to find that Salaz was not only safe and sound, but she didn't even know when she was standing behind her, looking at herself with a playful expression, as if she was watching a clown perform. No, impossible, how could you survive under my trick and still be unharmed, you? Tang Yuan pointed at Salaz, his voice changed unconsciously a little trembling, showing how shocked its owner was. What's so surprising? As long as my speed is fast enough, faster than your spikes, double is not enough, then double, as long as my speed is dozens of times faster than your spike attack speed, then it's alright to get out of the way and come behind you. Salaz hummed Isho, but her smile fell into Tang Yuan's eyes, but it was no less than a witch's smile. Is it finally used, Sally? Portgas D. Dana looked at Sally, with a flash of pride in her eyes. Although Sally was not the strongest among her disciples compared to Khalifa and Lu Chengkong, but Dana absolutely treats Salaz as her direct disciple with all sincerity. When teaching her, it is not like Khalifa and Lu Chengkong who taught her when they were young many years ago. 299 Salaz's fruit ability. It is precisely because of this that she is of course proud of Salaz as a teacher for her achievement. After all, Salaz has improved her strength to such a level in 6 years. Although her teaching and the teachings of so many powerful people around her, the help of Dana's life fruit and Khalifa's life fruit have played a big role in her being able to continuously overdraw her body and weight without any scruples. But the most important thing is Salaz's own perception and hard work. It can be said that in these years, Salaz's daily practice is the most important in the Happy Pirates. Even Khalifa, who is known for her hard work, sees Salaz every day. It's a lifeless training and I have to say the word admiration. What is Sister Salaz's ability? As Nami and others who only joined this year, they didn't know Salaz's ability, so they couldn't help but ask curiously. Let her speak for herself. Salaz has been suppressed for so long, I think she will say it soon. Lu Chengkong shook his head, although he knew the fruit ability that Salaz possessed, but he did not have a big mouth. Salaz didn't take the initiative to say it, and he didn't tell anyone. Devil fruit. Could it be your fruit ability just now? Fujiwara is indeed an admiral-level powerhouse. After the initial panic, he quickly calmed down, and even captured the information he said he needed in Salaz's words. It seems that you are not that stupid. Yes, I eat the speed fruit in the devil fruit. As long as my body, spirit and will can bear it, with the development and strengthening of the fruit's ability, even if the speed is increased to the speed of light, even faster than the speed of light. Quote. Sure enough, Salaz wasn't hiding her abilities either. Her red lips parted lightly, and she said word by word. By the way, don't think that the speed fruit is just to increase my movement speed. I can tell you honestly, the speed fruit has many different abilities when it falls into my hands. In addition to the increase in movement speed, the neural response speed, brain speed, attack speed, anything that has to do with speed I can improve. Quote. Hiss, it's terrible. Who said that the Logia fruit is the most powerful among the 3 fruits? That's just for the weak. For the real strong, the 3 fruits are the same. It's just to see the user's qualifications or only, and sometimes some paramesha abilities that are more bizarre and rarely appear or even more troublesome and scary. Quote. Bluno and the others took a breath, and Kaku couldn't hide his shock and blurted out, but his words were indeed recognized by everyone present. After all, no one present was weak. The world's martial arts is only fast and unbreakable. Under my absolute speed, do you think your attack can be effective against me? And I can tell you honestly, I am not Kizaru. He can't control the speed of light to the heart, such as the arm dictates, but I can. No matter how fast I am, I can control it perfectly, and go wherever I want to go. Quote. The gloomy color in Salaz's eyes flashed, and the sullenness in her chest that had been hidden for so long was dashing at an alarming speed as she continued to talk, and Fuji Yuan's face became more and more ugly. Okay, you have enough time to live, you can die, and bury the people who died in my kingdom, Shigen finger pistol speed. When Salaz said this, Her people had disappeared. Almost at the same time, Ting Yuan let out a scream, but the scream came to an abrupt end. People from the Revolutionary Army looked at Ting Yuan and found that Salaz's index finger was like the most terrifying sharp arrow, piercing through Ting Yuan's body with absolute speed. The action is too late to do is to leave this world. Humph! Salaz didn't even look at Ting Yuan and let his body fall on the sea. Lu Chengkong and Khalifa clearly noticed the frown on Salaz's brow at the moment Ting Yuan died. The suffocation and resentment have dissipated, and it is obvious that Salaz is not unreasonable and likes to anger innocent people. From Dragon's performance just now, she could already see that Ting Yuan did this all by himself. If it weren't for him to hide it and not report it, Dragon would not let the country under the Revolutionary Army feel chills for the sake of the reputation of the Revolutionary Army. He went back to save Salaz's country no matter what, but unfortunately all of this was Ting Yuan's fault, so after killing the culprit, he didn't plan to drive out the Revolutionary Army. But although she doesn't plan to drive out the Revolutionary Army, it doesn't mean that Mengqi D. Dragon will do so. He is an outstanding leader. If he watched his subordinates get killed in front of so many people, he wouldn't ask. Smell, isn't this typical bullying? What is the difference between this and Ting Yuan? So Mengqi D. Dragon must stand up today. Ting Yuan's mistakes have already been paid for with his life. This world is the strong prey to the weak. If he dies, he can only blame him for his inferior skills. Let's ease the relationship between Lu Chengkong and him, but the conversation just changed. However, no matter what mistakes he made, he was always a cadre of our Revolutionary Army. It would be too chilling for me as the leader to watch my subordinates die without doing anything. D. Dragon's body suddenly tensed, and a conqueror haki shot out like a whirlwind and pressed towards Salaz. Really? But you also forgot that Salaz is also a member of my free and easy pirates. You want to protect your subordinates, and I want to. If you win your words, the weak will eat the strong, and the strong will be respected. You want then I'll accompany you. Lu Chengkong appeared in front of Salaz like a teleportation, and directly blocked all Conqueror Haki who was blinded by D. Dragon. Captain! Splashes appeared in Salaz's eyes, but she was strong and did not let her tears flow. At this moment, she fully understood what her teacher Dana told her before. Yes, she is not alone. Why so many people are willing to follow him without any reason, because this is a family, and now Lu Chengkong is standing up to fight for her family. Let's talk about it later. Lu Chengkong sighed. He has been in this world for so many years and has experienced so many ups and downs. He is no longer the Lu Meng who was on Earth before. He has completely matured. Gently patted Salaz on the fragrant shoulder, and after sending Salaz back to the new happy with a gentle force, the soft color in his eyes disappeared, replaced by a cold light. 300 versus Mengqi D. Dragon. One-on-one or together, whatever you want. Lu Chengkong's words immediately made all the revolutionary troops except Mengqi D. Dragon angry. Isn't this despising them? Of course, only Mengqi D. Dragon knows how terrifying Lu Chengkong's strength is. Even if Lu Chengkong was weak for a long time after using the mirror image fusion, Lu Chengkong's strength during that time was terrifying, and he forcibly defeated Gorosei 5. The elders also had almost the entire marine headquarters as the sacrifice of the ancient weapon Pluto, so Mengqi Dragon didn't think Lu Chengkong's words were arrogant at all. But today's battle is a battle between them. Even if he is dead, he can't ask anyone for help, unless he is no longer the leader of the Revolutionary Army, and Mengqi Dragon will fight for his own men, and Lu Chengkong will go for Salaz. The reason for fighting is the same, and outsiders cannot interfere. I'm the leader of the Revolutionary Army, you're the captain of the Easy Pirates, of course it's a duel between us, and I'd love to experience firsthand how strong the people who destroyed the marine and defeated the Gorosei, 5 elders and Hades, _. Mengqi D. Dragon took off his hat, revealing his face with strange lines, and when he said it, he made a shot. Especially, it can be seen that Mengqi D. Dragon is a ruthless, decisive and popular person. The combination of wind and water. Then after feng shui, there is thunder, which not only increases the power of thunder, but also makes people unable to escape. Lu Chengkong looked at the storm and the sea tornado and thought to himself, but his face did not change at all, as if such a natural disaster was just a trivial existence in his eyes. In fact, such storms and sea tornadoes are definitely the most terrifying disasters in the region. Even a tsunami and earthquake of magnitude 12 can't compare, but in today's Lu Chengkong's view, it really doesn't matter. Thunder and lightning. Sure enough, Mengqi D Dragon seems to be verifying Lu Chengkong with practical actions. The originally sunny day has long become dark clouds with the appearance of Mengqi D Dragon's storm and sea tornado, and now it is even more so. Countless thick electric snakes slashed towards Lu Chengkong. At this moment, Mengqi D Dragon seems to have turned into a weather god who manipulates all weather, and those in the Revolutionary Army have obviously not seen Mengqi D Dragon take action for a long time. I think you should have seen my battle with Gorosei, 5 elders. Then you should know that moves of this level are useless to me, and an ordinary admiral-level powerhouse can only dodge elementalization in the face of attacks like you. Or forcibly resist and end up with a serious injury, but unfortunately. Speaking of this, Lu Chengkong shook his head regretfully, and then he used his actual actions to tell those in the Revolutionary Army why Lu Chengkong was so afraid of Lu Chengkong. I saw Lu Chengkong wave his hand, and a palm-sized thunderball appeared out of thin air in Lu Chengkong's palm. VV flickered. The combination of all kinds of weather was enough to seriously injure an admiral-level powerhouse with one blow, but in front of Lu Chengkong, it was as fragile as a paper tiger. Is this the strength of the most powerful captain of the happy pirates in the new world of the Great Channel? It's scary. Even if the leader's blow is not sure what will happen next, he is so vulnerable in front of him. Wolf's face became heavy. I have always heard how powerful Lu Chengkong is, but I still can't believe these rumors without seeing him with my own eyes, but now that he has seen it with his own eyes, he really thinks that the rumors are not only not exaggerated, but rather weakened. Lu Chengkong's strength. It's so strong, but what about this? The wind swirls the clouds, and the thunder moves the world. Mengqi D Dragon's eyes flashed a scorching color, and a huge tornado suddenly condensed in the sky, with an elegant and domineering will. Lu Chengkong, and at the same time, a huge thundercloud appeared above Lu Chengkong's head, as if Lu Chengkong was a sinner who committed a serious crime, and God wanted to punish him. Countless thunder and lightning poured out like water. It's amazing. Lu Chengkong's expression didn't change, but he was surprised by Mengqi D Dragon's strength. Although Mengqi D Dragon's strength was far less than the current Whitebeard, it was the same as the sick man in the original book, who was covered in dark wounds. Whitebeard is only one line behind, and his strength is far above the redhead. But in the face of absolute power, everything is in vain, shaking the sky, shaking the ground, shaking the world. Lu Chengkong punched out, and Whitebeard's ultimate move was used by him. The terrifying shock wave brought a will to destroy everything. The lightning and storm in front of him were all shattered, leaving no trace. Just when Lu Chengkong was about to clean up Mengqi D Dragon, he found that Mengqi D Dragon had long since disappeared from the place just now. A cold drink suddenly sounded in his ears, penetrating everyone's ears like thunder. The world is frozen. As soon as Mengqi D Dragon's words came out, the temperature in the surrounding space continued to drop at a terrifying speed, and at the same time, countless thick ice thorns appeared in front of him. Obviously, Mengqi D Dragon dropped the temperature to the lowest level that he could control. The ability to use ice at the same time is a bit similar to Tingyuan's storm pear flower just now. The attack range and density are extremely large. If you are accidentally hit by any ice thorn, your intestines will be punctured and your stomach will be rotten, and it will be directly frozen. Ice sculpture. The combination of temperature and ice can not only maximize the power of the frozen world, but also make the enemy's actions inconvenient through this extremely cold temperature. It's really cold enough. Yours is ice, then I'll use fire, Entei Yangan. Lu Chengkong curled his lips, originally planning to defeat Mengqi D Dragon quickly, but when he saw Mengqi D Dragon's performance, he immediately changed his mind. He really wanted to see how far the leader of the revolutionary army could hold this Mengqi dragon in his own hands. After all, at the level of Lu Changkong, sailing on the vast sea was too boring. He needed a little excitement and a little entertainment. At this time, Mengqi D Dragon was the person who made fun of Lu Changkong. Although it wasn't as bad as the clown, it wasn't much better. He raised his hands high, as if Sun Wukong used a vitality bomb in Dragon Ball, a white fireball like a small sun condensed into shape. It is strange that the appearance of such a high-temperature fireball did not change the icy weather, even the cold weather. The temperature didn't change at all. Obviously, Lu Changkong's use and control of burning the fruit has reached a peak. He did not let Yang Yan show a trace of energy, and all the energy was condensed and controlled, and the power was increased to the maximum, without wasting a trace of energy.